If we could just rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could just stay standing and just take a moment to think about all our men and women in emergency services and in our armed forces, and also anybody local who passed away, especially James Grant, aka Jimmy Grant. Thank you. So, welcome everybody to the Village of Highland Falls meeting tonight, August 17th, regular meeting. And just so everyone notes, starting back in September, we'll go back to our normal non-summer schedule, which will be the 2 meetings a month, 1 regular, 1 work session. That's just an FYI. There's 2 public hearings scheduled for tonight that have been duly posted in the News of the Highlands. And we're just going to switch around a little bit because the second public hearing is in regards to an abandoned road, also referred to as High Street. It's not the entire High Street, it's just the lower portion. So we're going to start with that one first. And basically, we approved to have the public hearing at the last meeting. As I mentioned, it's been duly noted in the newspaper for tonight at 7 o'clock. The board approved it, it was unanimous. So I just need a motion to open up the public hearing. Motion by trustee Gargiulo, is there a second? Seconded by trustee Carroll, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And just so everybody knows, it's the Village of Highland Falls Board of Trustees intends to take action pursuant to Village Law, Section 7-724, to declare that the paper street off of Cousins Avenue, known as High Street, located in the Village of Highland Falls, New York, to be deemed abandoned upon the grounds, and that same has not been used by the public within the last 6 years, which is just standard general municipal code law. So tonight's just a public hearing about us doing that. We did this, I want to say, 5-6 years ago with another street. I can't think of it off the top of my head. It was off of Mountain Avenue. So there's a couple of these what they refer to as paper roads, which basically means people just didn't use them either for whatever reason, and they just became they're still village property, but it gets us to a point where we're kind of getting it off the books. Or the potential of us spending money to fix it. Brook Street, which I didn't even know existed. So I'm just showing my age once in a while, so I apologize. So public hearing, come up to the podium. Say your piece.
My name is Barry Haberman, Haberman. I'm an attorney in the city of New York. I'm here representing the courts who live at 43 Cousin Street. And the questions that they have as concerns to abandonment is, have there been any studies, any engineering studies, any record as to the condition of the road, what's going to happen to the road after it's abandoned? Who's responsible for the condition? My clients live downstream or downhill from the road. The road is not maintained, it's just falling to their property. It has been abandoned for this period of time. Has the village done any surveys or engineering studies or conducted any repairs? I was up here this afternoon, and it appears that one of the neighbors is using it as his own personal driveway, his own personal road for a period of time. So who's going to be responsible for the road? Has it determined evaluation for the road? What happens to the property after it's abandoned? Who takes it over? Or is it put up for bid? Has there been any evaluation, any appraisal? So, I don't know if there's been a record established. We asked the record be established as to condition, who's gonna take care of it afterwards, who's gonna make sure that it's safe when it's abandoned, and the value of the property, and what is the procedures for somebody who wants to bid on the property or make an offer to buy that piece of property? How does that get determined? That's all the questions before. Thank you.
Do you wanna field any of them? Some of them are just very general, so I don't know if you wanna field any of them now, or,
I really don't. I mean, generally, as you probably know, when a road is abandoned, assuming that it is, then it would be put out to bid. The village would take the highest offer, but at this point, I don't think the village has made that actual decision yet. So if you wish to submit your questions in writing as part of the record, the board would be happy to address them.
Sure. Who should we address it to?
Pardon?
Who should we address the questions to?
You can address the questions to me as the village attorney, and I think the village clerk would be happy to share my information.
Very good, thank you.
And you can also copy the village clerk so that they're in the record.
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely.
Who doesn't know me, I'm Ed McRae. I own the house on 45 Cousins Avenue on Paper Street or High Street. I've lived there 43 years. That road has been washed out more than once. Before the Twin Towers went down in the middle 90s, Ron Courts asked me, because his property got flooded out a lot. I said, Ron, I'll do something about it. So I built a wall there, and I repaired it above his property where the wall was falling down. And when the town was putting in the drainage, I used the town, when they dug up the dirt, to fill in where I put the wall, and built it up a little higher, so I'd be more to level. And Ron Courts, who's not a real great neighbor, doesn't even wave to me, when I asked him nicely, you want to contribute to the cement and the mortar and help get the rocks, his answer was, well, he'd give me a nickel, and I spent the whole summer. I completed it before the towers went down. Just the day after the towers went down, I completed that wall. But it took me a year and a half to build the wall. And I built it in with the town was putting in the drainage. And I intend to put a catch basin at the top so the water that washes it down, if anybody walks in there now, you break a leg. I'm gonna put a catch basin at the top and come down through the driveway and we'll drain out to the road. That's it. As far as, I've been there 43 years and I maintain it. My wife weed whacks it, so she saw a snake at the top of the hill, and she don't put them on. So, but I do it with a guard, whatever. But that's all it's about, is trying to own the property so I can fix it. And I'm gonna fix the top where the wall fell down too. So, that's where I'm at. And I offered to fix the wall that fell down in front of my house years ago, and Fufu Baloo fixed it with his crew, and charged the town $35,000 for that. And I told him I'd do it for nothing, just give me the property, but it never happened. But that's what I do. Just want to be able to fix it and own it. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in regards to this topic? So I think what we'll do is we're just gonna keep it open for right now. The public hearing open at least till the September 8th meeting. And good time to silence your cell phones if you have them. So we'll keep the public hearing open until the 8th of September, just so we should try to get some of those questions answered and then have some more information too as well. But I want to make sure we're at least getting it on the books and moving forward. Okay?
Thank you.
You okay, Madam Clerk? Okay. Is there anybody else? I'm missing any hands to shoot up yet? No, everyone's here for the other. Wait. Okay. So the next public hearing we have for tonight is Village of Highland Falls notice of public hearing amending the zoning law to allow residential dwelling units up to 25% of the ground floor in the Business 1 zoning district. Legal notice is hereby given that the Village of Highland Falls Board of Trustees will hold a public hearing on Monday, August 17th at 7 p.m. at the Senior Center, 15 Drew Avenue, Highland Falls, New York, 10928, for the purpose of a hearing public comments on proposed change to the village zoning law. The proposed amendment will allow up to 25% of the ground floor of mixed-use residential commercial buildings located in B1 zoning district to be used for residential dwelling units. A copy of the proposed law is available on the village website or village hall. Public hearing meeting of the Village of Highland Falls will begin at 7 p.m. or thereabouts, following the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, followed by the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. The Village of Highland Falls will make their effort to ensure the meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Did I get that right so far? Okay, just checking. Public hearings you have to do very, by the book. They don't like me going off script. I do believe that the last rendition was circulated to the Town of Highlands Town Board, the Town of Highlands Consolidated Planning Board, the Town of Highlands Consolidated Zoning Board of Appeals, and the County, Orange County Planning Department. That correct, Mundo? Okay. And I do believe the secret paperwork was also completed with the
Well, it's
appropriate.
not completed.
Well, yes, it's been submitted
Yes.
with the appropriate application.
There's a couple of things about, I'll talk about.
Yes. So there's a copies in the back of the proposed change, if you need to get one and take a look. We'll most likely start the public hearing tonight and carry it till September 8th, and then I would hope that the board would make a decision at that meeting. So if you don't get a chance to talk tonight, or you have some more ideas or suggestions or comments, we'll carry it over to the September 8th meeting as well, which is a Tuesday because Monday's a holiday. Okay? I need a motion to open this public hearing now.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Gargiulo, is there a second? Seconded by trustee Ramus, all in favor?
Before we continue, can you just clarify which proposal we're holding this public hearing on? Because what you read was 25%, but what we were provided on Friday evening was
50%.
Oh, it's one of the options. It's one of the options. There's three options. I read what we passed last meeting. I got a motion and a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Trustee Ramus?
What is the motion?
To open the public hearing.
Just open the hearing, right?
Yeah, that's all we're doing. Take it easy, no tricks for trade here.
Trustee Olivia?
I would like clarification on which document we're looking at. Is it the one that we most recently received?
I don't know if that's a yes or a no, so we're just trying to get the public hearing open.
Circulated, the copy would be dated.
Yeah, everybody got it.
Yeah, I'm
So we're just trying to open the public hearing. You can have all the comment in the world you want. We're just trying to open the public hearing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify which proposal we're opening this public hearing on, because,
There's only one.
It's
Well-
in your packet, 4 pages.
Yep.
okay, so can you tell me then, when was this copy published for the public to review?
We're starting tonight.
On
Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
Trustee Ramus?
Yeah, I want to open it up because I have a lot of questions.
Trustee Olivia?
Sure, yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gardullo?
Yes.
Mayor DeSalvo?
Yes. Okay, so let's open the public. Whatever you guys want to do, have at it. Come on up to the mic. We're doing 3 minutes, but if you're on a roll, I'll let you go. As long as you're not being mean. Get mean. Not like Facebook. Which we'll talk about a little later. Sure, can we read it? Does everybody want me to do a little summarization? I'll try to do a little chat GPT. But it won't be AI, it's gonna be me. So bear with me. So Village of Highland Falls Introductory Local Law of 2026, amending the zoning law of the Village of Highland Falls. Legislative findings and purpose and intent, the Village of Highland Falls, the Village Board of the Village of Highland Falls hereby finds and determines that in order to acquire, this is gonna read a little bit like as if we were passing it, but I'm not passing it. In order to encourage residential development within the district zone for mixed-use development, the current requirement that 100% of the ground floor area be dedicated to commercial use is unduly restrictive and would preclude meaningful development intended to provide appropriate housing for village residents. This local law enacted by the Village Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls pursuant to its authority to adopt local laws pursuant to the New York State Constitution and Section 10 of the Municipal Home Rule Law. Section 240-29H.1 titled Mixed Use Development of Chapter 240 titled Zoning of the Village of Highland Falls is hereby amended as follows. Again, just reading you we're not doing it, I'm just reading you what we're talking about. Definitions as used in this subsection, the following terms shall have the meanings indicated. Mixed use development, a building containing both commercial use and residential use. Commercial use is goods, services provided directly to the public such as retail, restaurants, bars, theaters, entertainment, professional offices, personal service, civic, culture, recreation. The term commercial use shall not include lobbies, tenant amenities, or other accessory spaces intended exclusively for the use of residents, regardless of whether a fee is charged or to residents. Residential use, apartments or similar dwelling units. Tenant amenities. Uses accessory to residential dwelling units, including ingress and egress, residential lobbies, residential lounges, fitness facilities, recreation areas, common rooms, package rooms, and similar facilities intended exclusively for the use of residents. For purpose of calculating compliance with this chapter, tenant amenities shall be treated as a separate use category and shall not be counted as residential dwelling unit area or as a commercial use, even where tenants are charged a fee. MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems necessary to operation of the building ground floor area. The gross area of the ground floor of a mixed-use building, less the area devoted to dedicated MEP systems, that's the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. For purpose of calculating compliance with this section, MEP rooms or areas shall not be included in the calculation of commercial use, residential use, tenant amenities, or parking. For example, if the gross ground floor area is 20,000 square feet and 2,000 square feet are devoted to MEP systems, the ground floor area shall be 18,000 square feet. Folks got me so far? Okay. Ground floor use requirements. Commercial use of the ground floor is required in all mixed-use developments. Parking, residential dwelling units, and accessory residential use may be incorporated only as permitted under one of the following three options. Any ground floor configuration that does not comply with one of these options shall require a use variance. Am I doing okay so far, Madam Attorney? Okay. Option 1, commercial dominant layout. 75 to 100% of the ground floor must be commercial with tenant amenities permitted in the remaining 0 to 25%. Little bullets to go with that. Not less than 75% of the ground floor area shall be devoted to commercial use. Tenant amenities may be on the ground floor, provided that the combined area devoted to such use does not exceed 25% of the ground floor area. Except for necessary residential entrances and access, commercial use shall occupy street-facing frontage to the greatest extent practical, as determined by the planning board. Option 2, parking and residential mixed use. Parking, residential dwelling units, and tenant amenities may occupy portions of the ground floor area, provided that their combined area does not exceed 50% of the ground floor area. Ground floor parking shall be used exclusively by residents of the building. Parking access shall be from the rear alley, rear street, or side street, except where such access is only available from the front street. Not less than 50% of the ground floor area shall be devoted to commercial use. Except for necessary residential entrances and access, commercial use shall occupy street-facing frontage to the greatest extent practical as determined by the planning board. Option 3, limited residential ground floor. Residential dwelling units may occupy no greater than 25% of the ground floor area. Residential dwelling units shall be internal or rear facing and shall not front any public street. Tenant amenities may occupy up to 25% of the ground floor area, provided that the combined area of the residential dwelling units and tenant amenities do not exceed 50% of the ground floor area. Not less than 50% of the ground floor area shall be devoted to commercial use. Except for necessary residential entrances and access, commercial use shall occupy street-facing frontage to the greatest extent practical as determined by the planning board. So if you have the sheet in front of you, the options are kind of broken down, 1 commercial dominant, 2 park, well, basically what I just read, but in a smaller, little graph or chart. It's a table chart, excuse me, I couldn't find the word. Okay, little asterisks here. For option 2, the combined area of residential dwelling units, tenant amenities, and parking shall not exceed 50% of the ground floor area. Paragraph 12, titled Parking Waiver. I think this is the most we've ever done for a public hearing. I like this. We should do this more often. Parking 12, titled Parking Waiver of Section 240-29H.1, titled Mixed Use Development of Chapter 240, titled Zoning of the Village of Highland Falls, is hereby amended and renumbered.
Yeah.
Okay. The planning board's authority to reduce the off-street parking requirement shall be limited to a reduction of up to, but not greater than 10%, where the property developer elects option 2, parking and residential mixed use, as set forth in the ground floor use requirements for mixed-use development, but does not provide parking on the ground floor.
The rest is just
The rest is just legal,
mumbo jumbo.
legalese, is a good word.
Necessary legal.
Necessary stuff, basically it's just suppression and inconsistent laws, if any, servability and effective date. Anybody need any clarification on what I read?
I would just like to note for the
Sure.
public that the parking waiver, that is added to, right now, there's a 25% parking waiver at the discretion of the planning board. This sentence is added to that to basically say that's still there, but if you choose option 2, you're not entitled to 25%. Unless you add parking to the ground floor, and actually that needs to be tweaked, but let's
Okay.
get through this first.
Okay, so it's public comment. So, yes, sir, come on down.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Guerra. I live in Fort Montgomery with my wife and 3 children. I came to the last meeting and felt compelled to send a letter to all the elected officials with just general thoughts on the town of Highlands, Highland Falls, development, and sort of the future of this community that obviously is very near and dear to me growing up here. So I figured I would just read some of my letter, if you'll allow me to.
Sure.
A couple of minutes. So I live in Fort Montgomery with my wife and our 3 children. I grew up here. I grew up in Fort Montgomery. And I made the decision along with my wife to move back here to raise our family. And one of the biggest reasons that we decided to come back was the potential that this community has. Whether you've been here your whole life or you just get here, potential is a word that everyone used to describe the town of Highlands and Highland Falls. And quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing the word potential. I'm tired of the stagnation. I'm tired of excuses. I'm tired of hearing people complain without offering solutions. I'm tired of hearing why we can't do something rather than how we can. We are a community adjacent to the most prestigious military academy in the world. We sit along the Hudson River, and we're just over an hour from New York City, where I commute for work every day. Millions of visitors pass through our community. There is no excuse for our town to be in the state that it has been in recent years. I don't want to hear about land being taken almost a century ago. I don't want to hear about parking. I don't want to hear about water infrastructure. These are simply the realities that we face, and it is our job and responsibility to make it work. Because if we don't, the decline and the consequences for our community will be more dire and more severe. Clearly what we've been doing, and the status quo is not the answer. We need to grow our way out of these problems, If that means becoming more nimble and more developer and business friendly, that's what we need to do. The alternative to that is continued decline, and that should concern every one of us. We have an organization in the Hudson Valley Program and the Association of Graduates that has demonstrated a genuine commitment to improving our community when others have not. Whether it's through the Connect program, which provides tremendous opportunities for our children, or the investments that they are making in the town and Main Street that desperately needs life. They have shown they're willing to invest here when others haven't. Yet instead of making it easy for them to invest and to conduct business, we're often making it difficult. We should be going out of our way to do whatever we can to help. If that means adjusting zoning slightly, then that's exactly what we should be willing to do. Because again, what is the alternative? This doesn't mean there shouldn't be questions, community input, accountability. Residents absolutely deserve transparency and opportunities to provide feedback, but those conversations should be helping move progress forward, not being a hindrance to progress. If there are any better solutions available, I would genuinely like to hear them. And if there were obvious alternatives, we wouldn't be in this situation. I'm writing this as someone who grew up here and chose to come home to my family because I believe in this place. This community is my home. But unless we embrace the changes necessary to support growth, families like mine will increasingly choose to live, invest, and spend time elsewhere. If we want this community to survive, grow, and thrive, we must make it a place that attracts young families and retains young families. The vast majority of residents in my situation feel exactly the same way, and I'm writing you to emphasize the urgency. We need to turn this around immediately and start making progress. We have an opportunity to work together with Hudson Valley Program and AOG and other committed partners to build the kind of community we deserve. A place where people want to live, raise their children, and invest. Thank you for your time, effort, and dedication each of you put into service for our community. I know it's not an easy job and often a thankless one. If anyone has any questions, I'm easy to find. So thank you. Yes, sir.
My name is Tom Heatley. I'm a newcomer. I've only been here 24 years. I bought my land in the house on Highland Falls on Center Street, called Center Street. And at that time, I proposed we put a two-story building, or I forget what it was actually, but some condos in it. And it was rejected by the board. Then I asked if I could put some small storage units in it, and they said no because the good lawyer over there added a comment to the law. And I gave up after spending $7,000 or $8,000 trying to do something on them. The reason I'm mentioning this to you is that we lost $6.7 million in taxes over the last 24 years because we didn't let somebody do something with their own property. Lately, I've been working with the board, and apparently we might get some change in that. The point I'm trying to make here is that we don't want to spend another 24 years making sure we don't get income. In other words, we're cutting off our noses by our face. And the other question I got, how high is the building we're talking about? How many floors?
In the B1, I believe you can go up to 55. Huh?
50.
50.
Okay, so you can put 5 or 6 floors. So the point being is, if we could end up bringing this town with that project, my project, and 3 or 4 others I know about, probably enough money that we would no longer need taxes in this town. So you gotta think about that. If we could, there's a town out in Michigan that has Christmas every day. And I forget the name of it, but it's a wacky community, and they have Santa go through the town every day, and they laugh, and the kids are there, they get 42 million visitors a year.
Right in there.
You've been there? You know what I'm talking about? We should be doing that with West Point. We could have, beautiful streets with brick bricks, walkways. We could turn around and make this town into a place where people come to enjoy it. Right now, we're just, we're trying to recover, we want the mayor that decided it was more fun to fight with West Point than it was to let them help us. It's a mutual, this is a mutual community. My property, my house used to be a whorehouse in a bar. I think there's a couple more on the same street. And, I promise you, I do not have whores in my house.
Okay, you hit your limit with that word.
The point being is that we gotta get past the fact that things have been labeled for actually, my house is older than the town, it's 178 years old. And we still are clinging desperately to this little town, this little tiny zoning board. I'd like to see all zoning changed to anything that anybody wants to do. And that's my point. I don't think we need a zoning law. Really don't. But that's my opinion. I don't contract law. I built everything from the front door to 11 stories. I know how to build. In fact, I probably know more about building than most people will ever know. My father did it, my grandfather did it. So, all I'm saying basically is, I absolutely agree with that young man who just talked. We need to do something. We need money. Thank you.
Michael Laney, village resident. So from 25%, now they could potentially have 50% residential on the first floor? If I read that correctly? Plus the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Thank you, I appreciate it. This same group of people that are asking, originally it was just for only 3 apartments were hindering this. This same group just built West Point's football stadium. So 3 apartments is gonna make this huge development just go bust. Their bank account is larger than any of ours will ever see. I just don't understand the timeline of when this came. There was a meeting in June with the village from another developer, which is a part of this developer, same alumni. He's just a member, but they're not together, but he's with them. How did this come about? How many other people have brought this to the zoning board that need to put up to 50% of residential on the first floor on our main street that makes it so pivotal to the future of our village? Families, yes, we do need young families here. Young families, how are you gonna keep young families here with this development with 27 one-bedroom apartments? 4 apartments are going to be for the families. That's all I have.
Hi, thanks. Ron Malcott, Perry Avenue. I have a question here. I'm trying to understand this document here. Are you voting on the 3 options that you're going to give? Or are you giving the developer 3 options to choose from on their development? Is that what you're doing here? Because you're changing the zoning from Bayer Gate to Dale Avenue. It's going to be, and to give a parking waiver is when a lot of people on this board wanted to build a parking garage because there wasn't enough parking, and now you want to give away parking. there's a parking issue in the downtown area and the north end.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I just want to clarify.
Okay, go ahead.
Right now, the parking waiver exists, right this second,
Okay.
as we live and breathe. If they were to go with option 2, then the parking waiver gets reduced to 10% instead of 25.
Instead of 25. Wow. I think you should get rid of it altogether.
Wait a minute, Ron, that's fine, and I think that's what it is.
Okay, because, listen, I don't know, you know, people live in Fort Montgomery, and, but people who live in the north end here, we have cadets parking on the street for weeks on end. And it's a problem. And if this is gonna be cadet parking here, cadet weekend housing, this development, or if it's gonna be for workers, you're gonna have, if there's cadets in there, you're gonna have problems, because they have visitors. And this parking lot out here is gonna be filled. So, I think basically you should take that out. And am I correct then? You're giving the developer this 1, 2, or 3 option to choose from?
The zone will have 3 options. I'm not giving anybody anything. The zone will have 3 options.
I think you should.
That would be something, if it passes, there's a couple steps that have to happen, and that would be something they would determine with the planning board.
Okay, well, I just wanted to clarify that.
Sure.
I think you should reconsider.
Yeah, don't be afraid, it's okay. We're all family.
The last one lasts until 11 o'clock. Hi, I'm Shane Sims, my wife Rachel, back there. We bought a property, 21 Hillside, last year, lovely property, built by Mr. Doherty back in 1935. We have pictures of him building with my hands. It's pretty amazing. More importantly, in 1994, my parents dropped me off at Kansas City Airport. First time I was ever on an airplane. I flew to West Point, New York. I graduated 4 years later in 1998. And I'll never forget driving on a bus. They put us on a bus at Newark, drove me and my future classmates through Highland Falls into to West Point, New York. So to think, and I didn't even realize this until I started getting involved in this community, to think that there's this animosity between Highland Falls and West Point is something that was completely foreign to me. Because as young men and women that are coming into West Point, Highland Falls is the first place we see. For me, my mom and dad dropped me off at the airport, I did not see them until Christmas. This became my new home. And so there's animosity between West Point and Highland Falls is something that was really strange to Rachel and I when we bought a property. I want to make a clarification on something. The Hudson Valley program, in fact, Aaron was the one that sent the note out and said, hey, does anybody have, anybody that would be interested in investing in Highland Falls as a developer? This is a little bit over a year ago. And the property that's in question that I know that a lot of people are worried about is the one right back here. That developer has nothing to do with the stadium development. That developer is a classmate of mine. In fact, he was in my company. And I will tell you, because he's a personal friend of mine, he is not making any money whatsoever on this development. He is doing it for the same reason that my wife and I decided to come and invest in Highland Falls, because we believe in this place. But in order for it to make sense, both from not only a financial perspective, but also just smart urban development and urban planning, we know that mixed-use buildings that have residents on the back side, those places are safer. Because what do you have now when you go back behind some of these buildings that don't have the mixed-use facilities? It's pretty sketchy. You would not want to be walking back there. But when residents are there, the residents are going to take care of it. Just like this gentleman up here that said he took care of his road. Residents take care of their places. And that's why this is important. Some other numbers to throw at you guys that you may not realize. There are over 4,000 employees at West Point. Highland Falls can right now only accommodate about 1,300. So think about the amount of residents that would and could live in Highland Falls that gives back to the tax base, that is allowed to reinvest in the community, we're losing out on that opportunity. So just think about that. And closing comment about the guy, you know, that came back to live with his family. This is a great community. Listen, I grew up in a small town, 1,900 people in Albany, Missouri. This reminds me so much of Albany, Missouri. But what Albany, Missouri doesn't have, that this place has, is again, just like the gentleman said earlier, unbelievable potential. You have people that are wanting to come here, that just, one, they can't come here, or they start to come through here and they realize that there's strange animosity between Highland Falls and West Point that they don't want to deal with. And so, again, giving developers an opportunity to come in and develop when it makes sense, just think about that as residents, and please think about that as board members. People want to make Highland Falls a better place, and they want to come in and invest. And I think, you know, re-looking at zones, not just this zone, but several zones within the town, I think is something that I appreciate you all doing, and I think it's well overdue. I will tell you, this place hasn't changed in 1994. It still looks like the same Highland Falls that it did in 1994. Which I was going to say, which may not be a good thing. Great people, it just needs investments, and this is an opportunity for those investments to occur. So thank you. Sure, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Facer, long-term resident for the last 20 years in the town of Highland Falls. My wife recently spoke on many issues here last month. We have two lovely kids that we are raising, and the reason we are here in Highland Falls is quite simple. We love this community. We love the way things have turned out, and we love the way things have been. My in-laws, who have been here pretty much past the century mark, or past the half-century mark, have made it their home as well. I'm going to go ahead and ask you this basic question. Change, what does it mean to you? Well, I'm going to give you an example of what it means to me. 5 years ago, I participated and still are participating in a group called Community Connections, formed by Trustee Gargiulo. The program is designed for those with special needs kids to provide a safe space and fun activities. Many of the board members here today are representatives from that group too, who help support that. I will also thank Mayor DeSalvo because he's also part of this as well. This little garden back here was nothing but a back lot over 3 years ago. Barren, nothing. We had an issue with trying to find space for our kids to have fun. We looked everywhere. Building after building was not compatible with our designs. And as such, we had to deal with a lot of problems until we found this. We did not have any difficulty in getting this ready. But to me, what I saw in getting this built was amazing. People came out when we first started and started building up this garden. We did the painting, we did the leveling, and we also made this a quite beautiful community garden, which is still in use today. I really have been a part of this since the beginning. It's been a big help, and it's been fun. That, to me, shows what the community is all about. Granted, we need change, and I'm going to say that we do need to progress. The reason I say we need to progress is because we need to start moving forward. Many of you, like others who have spoken so far, are tired of the same old rhetoric. Ann Scott last month mentioned this, and Ed said a moot point to me, and I agree. We cannot let the prejudices of the past provide for the future. We need to have new businesses, new development. We need to go and do this. There is no exception. You can't wait much longer because communities around you are moving. They're changing. I also want to thank Mayor DeSalvo about something that has been a long time coming with the adventure of Green Light Networks that came through here. I'm actually getting started on their fiber service probably next month. So I want to thank Mayor Salvo and those here to provide that. I want to make that clear. I want to make also something real clear before I end. Many of you are tired of the rhetoric and the stagnation. I agree. I'm also getting very tired of three particular groups being harassed or so much being blamed. Yeah, you got some people are blaming West Point, calling it a takeover. It's not. Some are blaming the cities for coming in and taking over. It's not. Why are we stalling to a point where people want to come in and invest? Why are we vilifying it? Why are we stopping this? I'm sorry. We have got to move ahead. And those who can't understand that we have to move ahead, I'm going to use a freeway analogy. You can either get on the freeway of life and start moving forward, or you can get run over. The choice is yours. I would say make the right choice. Make it so that you will know how this community can be and will be for generations to come. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, come on down. We love when you folks from Port Montgomery come. It's a pleasure.
We are town.
Yeah, this is the village on Fort, but it's fine.
I'm just checking. Annie Scott, Port Montgomery, business owner in the village of Highland Falls. You know, the land acquisitions by the federal government have occurred in all 50 states of this union, with its peak in the 30s and the 40s. They were facilitated through an act of Congress, not through the folks that live, our neighbors to the north. They have also returned land through the Interior Department Land Buyback Program. Most notably in 2020, McGirt v., where 3 million acres were returned to the Muskie tribe. I'm curious why we've never, like said, no government officials between 45 years I've been here have requested land return to the community. But I continue to be amazed and concerned by the social media comments regarding the project that can have such a positive mark on this community. Highland Falls has been deteriorating for some time now. It will continue to do so unless developers are willing to invest in us. Communities need to update their antiquated zoning to fit today's building standards, not developers in particular, but today's building standards. They don't fit anymore. There isn't a developer who would come here and not want the zoning aid in bringing their projects to fruition. The fact that this developer in particular is willing to invest millions of dollars of his money here, it speaks to his foresight. The zoning change request is for something that already exists in Highland Falls. There are buildings that have commercial frontage and residential apartments in the back. We can't continue to be narrow-minded. To use land acquisition conducted by the United States Congress almost a century ago as a means to thwart the project today is incredibly disingenuous, self-serving, and has nothing to do with West Point or the Association of Graduates. I, for one, will be happy to see this project move forward and hopefully become a catalyst for additional development and bringing Highland Falls back to its glory as the gateway to West Point, the gem, one of the gems of the Hudson Valley as a whole. Like Dan said, we have to stop saying what potential we have. We need to move forward. We need to keep our personal opinions, take those hats off at the door, and do what's best for this community as a whole, and that includes Port Montgomery, because what happens in the village is a trickle-down effect. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Edward Dunn, Village of Island Falls, life member. I don't have to go into the years. Okay, basically, I'm not up here to dispute a specific project. I have to agree with the project. What we're looking at here is a law that's gonna be passed. And from what I'm looking at here, it's like the triple option. What are we actually looking at here? Are we looking at 75 to 100% commercial dominant? Parking in residential, 100 or 50%? You're talking about, you put 50% of apartments on the ground floor? Is that what you're talking about with option number 2? Was it wishbone T here? Or is it option number 3?
It's
How
all,
many residential apartments, how many residential pieces of property are you gonna put on the ground floor in any of these developments? Before you answer, before you brought up, you're saying we have a 20,000 square foot area. So you're gonna take 2,000 square feet off for mechanical, electrical, blah, blah, blah. And how about for the access, egress, fire protection, fire safety, elevators? Where does that come from? Where does all that land come from?
All right, that was,
How many square foot does that account for?
that was an example, Mr. Dunn.
What?
That was an example, so you take the gross floor area of the ground floor, whatever that is, and you deduct whatever is dedicated to MEP, and that leaves the net ground floor area, which is used in the calculations for 1, 2,
Okay, all right, so now you should write that in the law, should you not?
I
You
think
should put
it's,
that example in there. Number 2, if you go, you have 20,000 square feet, and if your example was you whack 2,000 square feet off for the MEP, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that gives you basically 9,000 square feet to develop into apartments at 50% of that use. So you're talking, at a 1,000 square foot apartment, you're talking 9 apartments on the first floor. And I believe that the code calls for 750 square feet. At an apartment, you're looking at 12 apartments on the first floor. So we've gone from 3 apartments to 12 apartments here in the blink of an eye. So what is it gonna be? I'm not here to discuss this project. I'm for the project. But you people are developing laws, and you're gonna give it to us on the planning board. Now, this stuff has to come from the planning board. We're gonna have to recommend people to the ZBA, because your laws are not clear. You have to clarify what your law is gonna be. You're either gonna progress, regress, or stand still. Pick a lane. Thank you.
Hi there, Tiana Brano, Freeville Parkway Village resident. As a ZBA board member, I would like clarification on that second option, because it does indeed seem like a loophole where they could get greater than 25%. So if there's another asterisk on that option 2 that is in line then with your option 3 of no greater than 25% in any option, yeah, I think that should be clarified. Thank you.
Eric Smith, I'm chairman of the planning board. So, I did think it needed to get amended. You know, I've heard plenty of times in these meetings, people complain about empty storefronts and things like that, and I think we would set ourselves up for that if we were forcing the market to get like a 300% increase in commercial space on these first floors. I think there needs to be good options to let the market drive this a little. I think outlawing residential on the first floor was a really bad idea. I think it's pretty common, pretty much everywhere. Supers apartments, handicap accessible. I know we have elevators, but ask someone in a wheelchair if they want to live on the third floor, you know, when the elevator's gonna fail and things like that. So, yeah, we definitely need an amendment. There needs to be flexibility there. I'm not saying we're abandoning mixed use. You know, mixed use is great. Look at all the thriving communities up and down Hudson. And it's the mixed use development that's driving that great growth. It is the, you know, it's the quintessential thing in in development that, you know, in communities that you think you like, people talk like they compare us to Annapolis or something like that. If you look at all those places, that's the common thread. So, yeah, let's just get the language right, but the intent is very good. So, we appreciate the board's responsiveness on this. We meet on Thursday, and we can, fulfill our duties
Yeah,
of our.
we want to hear back from you.
Yes.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
Just a little FYI for the. Just a little FYI for the public, you know, in any of the examples that we come up, whether we put it in the, you know, as an example, or an example comes up in a thing, regardless of what you want to put on the ground floor or the floors above, if it's referring to residential, you still have to have parking, right? You're still gonna have to have parking. So if we use the example of 9 apartments on the bottom, which, you know, I don't know how many 20,000 square foot area spots we have in B1. Of course, I guess if you bought a couple buildings and went through that process and tried to merge them together, which has several steps in itself, you're still gonna have to have parking for the residential. That's why we talked about that. And the board can, if they decide to change that, completely take it out, it's just, we thought about some options, or I thought about some options in working with the attorney. This is gonna probably change, it's okay, that's part of the process. But at the end of the day, regardless of how many apartments, the parking still has to get applied. The parking still has to get applied. So it's, you know, just in any scenario, you're always gonna have a commercial spots. And if you wanna add more residential spots, there's an option to do that, but you're still gonna have to have the parking, right? We talked about parking. The board talked about parking the last go-around, and residential dwellings came up in the last go-around. Now, when I say last go-around, I'm going back maybe 7, 8 months. We talked about residential dwellings at the time there on the ground floor. So, and that's why we, in that second option, which is probably the most lenient, as mentioned, you know, right now there is that 25% waiver that the planning board can initiate, but for that particular option, if it fit on a certain property, you know, depending on all the variables of that property, it allows them that option. But at the same time, you can't get an additional 25%, we would just go to 10, as is proposed now, could change. So, just want to throw that out there. Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Hi, everybody. It's Jennifer Ryan from Honda. I don't have a lot to say, but I do love Highland Falls. I haven't been around as long as a lot of you have been here, but I'm a West Point family. I am that, but I'm also a property owner in Highland Falls and have been for 6 years. I really, as a military spouse, I look for a mission, and my mission has been to bridge the connection between West Point and Highland Falls in so many ways, in relationships and community. I have so many people out here I call friends that are not from West Point, and I just love that. In commercialism, I that's not the right word, business, I guess. I've created a group with West Point families where I share what there is to do in the Highland Falls area, specifically the Hudson Valley area, specifically Highland Falls. It is my goal to share with people that care what they can do here. And I beg them to spend their money here, eat here. I give them itineraries of things to do, where to spend money, anyway, yada, yada, yada. My point is, we can be friends. We don't have to be adversaries. Let's get to progress together. That's all I have to say.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Carol Helbig, and I have lived here in Fort Montgomery, Highland Falls since 1978. I have witnessed everything that has happened in this village and the town, and I didn't intend to say anything, but I can't stand it, I have to say something. I understand that we're looking for businesses, and we're talking about apartments. Can we focus more on the businesses? Where are people gonna park when they come here to buy something? When we have places open for them to buy? Where are they gonna park? They're gonna be fighting with everybody who lives around here. That's an issue. Everybody has an issue now. Thank goodness you put on for seniors to be able to park. I'm happy to have that on my dashboard because I have a little spot in Annie's place. So, I don't live in the village, so I don't see the village issues because I only see what's printed and it's not always accurate. And I hate going on social media and seeing all the negative. And I worked at West Point. I started my career there. I'm a federal retiree. I can live on my salary. So I spend my money here. The problem is if I have to go outside of this village to buy gas and do groceries, then I might as well do all my business out of here. And I don't like that. I used to be able to do everything in town. I mean, I'm looking back to 5 and 10 and all those things, but we have so many storefronts that are open and not being used, and I don't understand why. Is it because the rent's too high? Are the utilities not up to date? What is the issue? If we're gonna build a new place, but we can't fill the old places, that defeats our purpose. Because we have one end of the village and we have the other where the church is in the middle, and I get that. But we can have a trolley or something that rides people back and forth. Right now, we have nothing to offer. I sit there outside of Annie's sometimes and people on weekends wanna know where to go eat. There really isn't any place to eat around here. You could go maybe to the Mexican place or Bean and Barrel, do very, very successful. But where else can they go? So if we're looking to tear the building down, it's gonna take a while to build them up. So we're gonna be without for a long time. Doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen in a year. I'm not a builder, I don't know how to do all that stuff. But it's gonna take time. And the longer we delay, the worse it gets. Because we look like a slum village, I can't stand it. Go walk around Beacon, walk around Cold Spring, walk around Cornwall. They're gradually building up. People will take a chance. Nobody wants to take a chance here. If I was younger, I would take a chance and I would do a little snack thing. Meatloaf Monday, Taco Tuesday, that kind of thing. But I don't have it in me anymore. But we're an ancient village. We have older people that are here. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna stay here because I'm retired. And my grandkids are all raised now. Do I wanna stay here? Do I wanna move somewhere else? That's my decision. Make it easy for me to wanna stay here. Make it easy for all these families and all to stay here. And if that means changing the law, that's fine. But assure all the residents there'll be no bait and switch. I have seen that down where my son is in Florida. People get approved to do certain things and build certain buildings, and before you know it, it's totally different than they expected, and more property, more parking spaces and highways that can't handle it. We have to look at the long picture. But do it quickly, do it faster. We can maybe change the law if it doesn't work, but I think having 3 options is too many options. Personally, I think it's too many options to offer somebody. Tell them what they can do. We have laws now, I get it, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit our building codes, it doesn't fit our use, it doesn't fit. But if somebody wants to spend money here, let them do it and let them build. Make it easy, find a way to make it work. Don't find a way to say, oh, we can't.
Right.
If that means adjusting something, you guys, there's so many smart people at West Point. All those AOG people, they're not stupid. They have brains. They know how to use them. Use their education, their minds, make it work. That's what I'm saying. As a private citizen, that's what I got to say. Because looking from the outside in, it doesn't look really well. And I want it to. I want my children that moved away from here, my grandchildren, to be proud of Highland Falls, not regret wanting to come back. I want them to want to come back after college. And right now, that doesn't look like it. I'm just giving you a personal opinion of an outside the village person.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to add one more thing. Just to address the parking again, because I don't want any misnomers, so. Every business that's in the B1, right, if you're a business, your commercial space, you know, depending on what it is, I think you're not, there is no parking required for the commercial aspect. It's a park exempt area for commercial space. The only time the parking comes into play is when you want to add a residence. So, to your example, which was a great example, if 500 apartments are proposed for Main Street, and they're all single family, they're all single bedroom, one bedroom.
Cars,
Hold on.
at least.
There's parking requirements, so they couldn't just add them on to Main Street is my point. So they'd have to be able to have parking in order to get that number. I'm using a large number that's maybe unrealistic, so I just want that to be added. It's not something where folks will park on the, I'm not saying they won't, but I'm just saying they have to they're required to provide parking for residential. That's all, just want to add that.
Don't forget the businesses, where people are gonna come to go to your shop, where are they gonna park? That's what we have to think.
And eventually, we're gonna have to deal with that as well. Yeah, 100%. I think I saw a hand up in the back. Mr. Copal, you wanna go next?
Ned Copal. My comments are not with regard to the proposed project in the north end. My concern, and I think a lot of persons here, pardon me, is the Main Street between the churches and down to Dale Avenue. Those of us who remember a vibrant Main Street, it's not merely cooking up a positive image. It was very viable, many places that attracted both local persons and visitors. Right now, with regard to the Main Street area I'm talking about, perhaps dead may be overstating it. But I'm concerned about the effect of limited commercial space already and the need to attract new businesses when you're going to now make them open to cut the amount of business space that is there now available. Additionally, while it might help some landlords, assuming that they wanted, I don't know that they do, once you have residents in there, given the landlord-tenant laws of the state of New York now, you won't be able to get the residents out. So I think that the board needs, and the community needs to give more concern to what this change would do to the hub right here, particularly from basically the ice cream store and the area of Hoffman's down to the dentist's office. Because I think you're going to further harm the opportunity to bring business in. Years ago, there were a number of persons, including myself, who had strongly suggested that we go to Cold Spring. Cold Spring is so vibrant now, of course, it's different. They do have the railroad, etc. But there are businesses there that are prospering that we might be able to bring here, showing them the real opportunities that do exist with our positives and with our positive elements with West Point. So I would ask that the board give some thought to that. The effect that this would have on the core area that is now basically on the dead side. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening, Jack Jetter, village resident. I want to thank Mr. Giulio for that garden back there. I have 6 special needs grandchildren. A little bit of history here. I've been reporting since 2023 on developments. Several years ago, I'm not sure how long ago, the AOG, West Point AOG, is a 501c3 nonprofit. And the decision was made that all fundraising on West Point would go through that runs everything from minor things like the chess club to maybe the skydiving club to more expensive products. The other thing is that all of the fundraising done by the Intercollegiate Athletics Department also goes through them. So they play a very crucial role. And I'm going to digress. I've never seen a lot of animosity between the communities. What happened in 1940 or 41 landlocked us, but that's not the issue anymore. We will get that. But anyway, in 2023, because I was a member of the advisory committee to the AOG chairman of the board, I learned that, first of all AOG fundraising is approved by the superintendent, the 3-star general. The dean of the academic board, the 1-star general, identified the need for about 12 apartments because he hires professors from other colleges who are on a sabbatical to a 1-year contract to come teach at West Point. West Point had apartments until Central Apartments, although the academic area were torn down and put up that huge building that's still under construction. A number of years ago, there were also apartments just across from the left field fence of the baseball field. There was a bachelor officers' quarters, which were apartments. That was converted to academic buildings. So they did have apartments, but now they needed some. Well, they could put it on federal land with federal money without taking that to Congress. So their proposal was, why don't we have private developers put it on Highland Falls land using Highland Falls infrastructure, and that's something to consider. This could have been done on federal land. But anyway, the proposal came before us. They initially needed 12, but then that morphed to about something over 20. And then because the development we're talking about is Shays, the park, Union Barrel, they also acquired the land behind us over here. And then also one building that's actually in the R3 zone, so they've expanded. They've got enough land to build a very large building, which is before that they've come before us. That very large building, as proposed by them, would have 36 apartments, including just 3 on the ground floor. They have all apartment parking at this point that they would need. They insist that they have to have the 3 to make it feasible. I don't know about that. I can't say that. You address that. However, they have essentially what they need to put up a very large building, larger than it would be if they just replaced Shades Park and Union Barrel. Not everybody can get the extra land in development, that's something else. But if as the public notice that was originally published, and that's what Olivia was asking about, that was what was in the paper, it was just gonna increase. It was gonna keep, the two options that are the law right now are you can have either 100% on the first floor, or you can have up to 50% parking on the first floor. Sounds pretty straightforward. And those were recent developments from last year that were a big give to developers, especially the second one. And that was option 2. Now the board is proposing option 3, which would provide 25% on the first floor residential. That would cover the 3 apartments in this building that they're asking for. So I really don't understand why option 2 has morphed into something that can allow not 25%, as in option 3, which was the stated reason for having this change, but why it would allow 50%. I don't understand that. And the other thing is it's a loophole, and if you have a loophole like that, you could drive a bulldozer through, who knows where you could end up. But I'm very concerned in my role in this zoning board about anything that creates loopholes. So I have to ask, why does option 2 need to be where it is? Why not just go with 25% in option 3, leave option 2 the way it always has been, and but make it a law clear, because whenever you get all of this, that, and the other thing going on, that creates loopholes, and that brings in lawsuits and lawyers, and just a nightmare for the building inspector to decide when it comes time to issue a building permit. There's a planning board when they have to do their thing, and the zoning board when we have to do it. What does this really mean? Now, who gets to decide that? Well, we all took an oath to the Constitution of the United States and the state of New York, and we have divided government in this country. So elected boards, whether it's the Congress, the state legislature, the village board, they get to write the law, but they don't get to interpret it once they've written it. So as far as zoning goes, the first person who gets to interpret it is the building inspector. The second is the zoning board. So we lack clarity, and I'm just very, very concerned about option 2 being a huge loophole. So that's my message here. The project is proposed by AOG. You can have it for 25%. I don't think there are that many other properties where they can buy additional properties to build a much bigger building. I don't think they exist. But again, keep this principle, keep it simple, should be in play here. Let's make this law very clear so that there's no ambiguities, no loopholes. So that's all I have to offer. Thank you.
Come on up, Mr. Sullivan.
You okay with that? Richie Sullivan, Port Montgomery, Town Board. I don't like public speaking, so I prefer a good boo at the end. You want the clap, all right?
No boo.
Of concern to me at the recent school board budget election last May are the numbers that I heard. West Point student 10 years ago numbered 200 or thereabouts. This year, if I heard the numbers correctly, we're down to 130 students coming from West Point. By the way, the West Point tuition contract is very fair, a very fair one for the school district. No issues there. But you had another district court students who are residing in West Point on post being able to go to the Monroe School District. That was because they formerly had an assistant superintendent for business that went to Monroe. He knew us, and that's what started that whole thing. Since military housing was privatized back in the late 90s, a military person can get their Pentagon check and pretty much live wherever they choose. They do not have to live on base. We are very thankful for the ones that choose to live in Fort Montgomery and in Highland Falls. But many of them choose to live in Cornwall for other surrounding communities. The people that pay taxes in this town, in an effort to keep O'Neill High School attractive to the West Point community, adopted $23 million in bonds back in 2017, and a few years ago, an additional $44 million for our schools and facilities to be competitive and in top-notch condition. About 5 years ago, I mentioned the superintendent going over to Monroe, so I'm repeating myself there. So we have a total of $67 million in less than the last 10 years that the people, the taxpayers of Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery have invested in a good faith effort to try and keep this all held together. Because without the West Point kids in that school district, you may as well sell your house if you can. I was involved with Impact 8 for about 10 years, so I'm intimately familiar with it. We currently get somewhere around $3 million a year. Even back 10 years ago, it was calculated with the land that we no longer have, we should be getting $16 million a year for our schools. My point is, I have nothing against AOG, and I too want Highland Falls to benefit. I would like for everybody on each side to truly appreciate the effort that the local community has made to try and keep our school district top-notch, and it will not take much to make that all fall apart. My other point of view goes back to Jim Martin, who in this very room, one of the many comprehensive plan changes you've made in the last 7 or 8 years, or 5 or 6 of them that you've done, he stated the following. He clearly stated that we already know that a commercial property, if it pays $1 in taxes, costs you 30 cents to service. For residential properties, if they pay you $1, it costs the municipality $1.25 to provide service to them. That's pretty much fact, that's not conjecture. So what I would like to see is a model from the developer in AOG describing what they project the cost of these units is going to be per month, okay? And likewise, I'd like to see the village board have a projection of what they think it's going to cost them to service all these things once they're built. So my theory is net gain zero. I would just like to give all the people I know in Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery a big hand. We're doing the best we can with the limited resources that we have. And I'm not against AOG. My brother was 1986 USMA. Marty Marr was my uncle. My family had land at Cranberry on 1931 that was taken, so I've been through the whole gamut. America is advanced citizenship. There's no animosity here. We're just trying to get some work done, okay?
Anybody else?
Okay, I'm the last one, so I'll be brief.
Maybe, there's always sleepers.
My name's Lee Major, and I'm a resident of Fort Montgomery. And I kind of concur with my neighbors in Fort Montgomery. I do support the proposal. It does make sense. I did have a unique opportunity to work for one of the top real estate developers in the city. And the reason they were so successful, because their business faced dire circumstances, and then they would pivot. They were commercial real estate, and then COVID happened. So imagine you're in a city and you're leasing commercial real estate. So you have to pivot. So that's what they did, opened to residential, and one of the top companies in the city. So I think, just letting the laws of supply and demand and the market dictate what happens is just going to be super beneficial for everybody. So definitely support.
See, I knew it.
So, sir, I love the high school. So we are a military family. My husband's here.
Could you state your name?
Yes, I'm sorry, Carly Lumler. I live on West Point. I'm a homeowner in Fort Montgomery. I love the high school. I love the entire town. I love Highland Falls. We walked here. We have dined in this town since we were cadets. It's an awesome, awesome place. I just wanted to say that I appreciate all of the efforts that the homeowners, residents, and businesses put in to making sure the school is excellent, because it does draw families back to live here. We chose to move back here instead of living in Cornwall or in Monroe Woodbury or across the river in Cold Spring. My husband could have commuted, but we wanted to live in this awesome town. Our kids played. I'm looking out at people like Sally Dorsch, who tries really hard to make things better in the community. You know, a lot of folks in this town do so much. So what I wanted to say to all of you is thank you for doing your due diligence. I support this proposal, and the reason why is because I feel that giving flexibility to businesses will enable the town to attract more kinds of businesses. I do also agree that the language can probably be tightened up a little bit, but I really appreciate you having the hearing and looking for a way forward. And all the diverse opinions are really what makes this town great. So thank you very much, and thank you for all that you've put into the school over decades. Thank you.
Erin Helly, Association of Graduates, the proverbial elephant in the room. I just wanted to say that laws are meant to be changed. And the easier thing to do would be what so many people before you guys did, which is nothing. You could just leave the laws alone. You could not make any change. And we could just stay stuck. But that hasn't done anything for anybody in this room. It's handcuffed this community. It's limited this community in so many ways. I don't see this as a loophole. I think that this is strategic planning by a group of people who has worked really hard to do their homework, listen to the experts, consider what they've been told by people in this industry and people who want to come here and spend money and invest. And they put something together that works right now. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe it won't be good in 5 years, but that's why we can go back here, come back to the drawing board, change the law again for something that will work then. The trolley will come. The parking garage could come when there's revenue to pay for it. This is just the foundation. Changing this zoning law signifies to all these developers, all these future business owners, that Highland Falls is open for business and we want you to come here. And I think that this is something that we have to do to move forward. Thank you.
Mike, hold on. Anybody else who hasn't gone? Sure, Mike, come on up.
I think people are, everybody wants growth and development on Main Street. The village board has not done anything, has not done anything. Within the last 5 years, there's been 5 zoning changes or law changes. So they have been changing the laws to accommodate developers, and every time the law has changed, it seems the developer keeps wanting more. The stagnation is honestly in the hands of the developer. Sir, is there a problem that, on 12 Center Street, sir, you have a pile of trash that the children have to walk around?
Whoa, both of you, stop, please.
All right.
Stop.
You're putting the children at risk having to walk
Stop.
around your property.
Tom and Mike, stop.
Hey, wrong place. We're not doing this.
They can already be building, if I'm correct. They keep wanting more, 3 apartments, so build the building. Has the village said, hey, we'll give you the 3 apartments, but can you make it for the 3 seniors? You know, add 3 spots on the senior list. Right now, our seniors are housed at Wine Green. To walk to any store, they have to walk up a hill. That'd be a plus for 3 seniors in the village. No one is trying to say they don't want development. I have brown water every day. If you put 40 new apartments, what does that do to my already brown water? Is this gonna be part of the comprehensive plan of this size building with 50% residential on the first floor? That's it. You should clean your trash off your sidewalk so the kids can
Michael,
walk to
can you
school.
stop? Tom, can you stop, please? All right, other than that, we're doing great. We're doing great. It does happen sometimes. Okay, we okay right now?
Can I add something again?
Come on up, Mr. General. We are gonna keep it open to the 8th, so if you guys, but maybe if you went twice tonight, you can't go again. I'm just kidding.
I forgot to say, and Richard Sullivan reminded me. Residential apartment units, townhouses, condos do not pay for themselves in the taxes. So who pays for it? All the rest of us who live in the residential districts. Our taxes will have to go up. And you can shake your head on this, but that's
That's
not
not
the same. That's across the country. That's a fact of life. How are you gonna pay for all of these people unless they're all single people living in these single, one-bedroom apartments? Especially the school taxes are gonna have to go up if we get more people here. But anyway, again, across the country, studies show that high-density housing does not pay for itself. You can shake your head in disbelief, but that's just a fact of life. And those of you who live in residential districts are gonna have to pay for it. Now, why don't everybody who's moved into my neighborhood has come because it's a beautiful residential community. It's more than just a business district. They came here to live in a quiet community, not a city, but in a quiet community, in a residential district. Don't tax them out of existence. Thank you.
All right, we okay now? All right, just a quick comment on that last one, because I have a lot of respect for Mr. General and as many people who got up here tonight. I thank you for your opinions, and thanks for the input. I think as a board, we always take what the public says to heart, and we'll work through this process. But, no community, at least in Orange County, I won't say the world, but I'll say Orange County, nobody taxes properties based on a per capita in a household. If I'm a single person and I own a house, and my house is the same market value or the same assessed value as my neighbor with 5 kids in it, we both pay the same. Okay? The only time I pay different is on usage for water or sewer. Because if I'm one person in a house, I hope I don't use as much water as a house with 5. So we don't tax per capita in a household. 30 years ago, no we don't, Mr. General, we do not. Wait a minute, okay. So let me finish though, let me finish before you correct me, because I love getting corrected, believe me. So if it's a household of 10, 40 years ago, people had 5 kids. There was a family of 5 was common. Family of 4 was common. Now it's not so much. That takes care of the single family dwellings. Now let's talk about apartment buildings. If you have a house that you rent, maybe like the one individual that got up here, they said they live on Post, but they rent a house in Fort Montgomery. So for that example of the single dwelling or single residential unit, I would imagine that the rent that they charge their tenants pays the tax on that property. Doesn't necessarily have to, but I would imagine that tenant pays rent every month. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark. They probably have a lease. They probably pay rent every month. And the rent that they collect for that property goes to pay the taxes. Okay. So if we're taking a rental building on Main Street, and it's got 30 apartments in it, and that building is worth $15 million, and its assessed value is $10 million. I'm throwing numbers out here. If the building is worth $10 million and it's, let's say it's a single owner, because this is not a co-op that they're talking about, or a townhouse, or anything like that. Oh, by the way, townhouses have a maximum that they go up to, or, on property taxes, okay? So if that $15 or $10 million building is paying taxes on it, what do you think those residents inside the building are paying for? If they use more water than the single-family house, or me and my single-family house, then they're gonna pay that, because on our water bills, by the way, there's no list of friends who don't pay, by the way, on some of these Facebook pages that get administered by some of the people in this room. There's no list for free water bills, so I just want to address that while I'm talking about it. So if you have a single-family apartment in town, or you have a family of 5 in another section of town, you're going to pay a different amount than the single person is. And if we're talking about usage, we're complaining about 20 single-family apartments, or single one-bedroom apartments. Well, I don't think they're going to use as much as the water as a household of 6, or 4, or 3. I'm not saying that the comments aren't invalid. I'm just saying let's try to just put it in the same playing field. You know, we're talking baseball, we're talking football. You can't talk football and give baseball rules, or vice versa. Because I don't want people to get nervous or get scared because information comes out that's not, it's just, yeah, it's all under the generic thing we're talking about, but it might not fit in this particular situation. So again, properties are not charged taxes, property taxes, based on how many people are in the house. Whether you have 2, 1, 5, 7, okay? So that does not happen. It's based upon the assessed value of your property, whether you have a half acre or a quarter acre or whatever. And a $10 million building or a $5 million building on Main Street that gets assessed at the same tax rate as Mr. Dunn does down on Revolutionary Road, or Mr. DeSalvo, not Mr. DeSalvo, but Mr. DeSalvo on Villa Parkway is going to be the same assessed value, same assessed rate. So that tax bill is going to be different on my $250,000 assessed house versus a $10 million or $5 million building. So it's all relative is my point. And no one's saying that there's not going to be a cost potentially to services, but I have extra water now. And I apologize because the water department's been in your house several times. And I don't know, wait a minute, let me finish before you talk. You had plenty of time to talk. I don't know if it's just an issue to your house from the main, because I don't get a lot of complaints from other people on your street. Hold on a second, hold on, I'll get there. And, okay, and we are addressing it street at a time. It costs money.
Not true.
It is true. You're the same guy that gets up here and talks about a $25 capital charge to invest in the lines. So don't tell me it's not true. And please don't do a shouting back and forth.
I'm saying, you keep directing at me.
Because you made the comment, sir. Whether you do it at the town board meeting, you do it here. So I'm just trying to address your issue.
Well, what is it you're addressing from months ago, you pick right now?
I can pick whenever I want.
I know, you're the mayor, you're right.
It's not it has nothing to do with the mayor. I'm on the board and I'm addressing your concern. Okay, we're done going back and forth. So I just want to make a couple comments on the zoning law, because that's what we're talking about at this public hearing. We can talk about anything else at the other parts of the meeting. And I hear the concerns, I think the board does, and that's why we're going to keep the public hearing open. Okay? Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Wells. I knew I would get you. I knew I would invigorate you to speak. No, I wanted to hear from you. I don't want to live in anticipation to the age.
The town has a total assessed valuation. I think it's around 600 million. I don't know. Add everything up. You take that and you take your budget and you divide it and you get a per thousand assessment per house. Has nothing to do with per capita.
Correct.
You're accurate. For the town taxes, village taxes, not for the school. So the school, you take the school budget, about $45 million, and you divide that by the same assessment. So every time you add a student in an apartment, you're increasing the school budget, because that's a lot of money.
Well, wait, hold on. You can speak.
You can come up and rebut.
No, hold on.
Anybody can come up and rebut me, but I'm not going to.
You're at the mic.
So you take the number of students, and every time you add a student, you're adding $40,000.
You don't add $40,000 willy-nilly to your budget. But every time you add 20 apartments, you're adding, based on average family size, maybe 20, 30 students. So you're adding to the tax base, you're adding to the taxes, not to the tax assessment rolls. And that's where that 125% comes from, the $1.25 for services. Because the commercial space doesn't have students. So I think you need to research that analogy you made. And I think Mr. General is right.
No, I'm gonna add to it if you're okay. Is it okay, can I add to it? Am I allowed to add to it, Mr. Chairman?
Up there.
No, I'm gonna. So I don't disagree, and I don't, going off my normal script, but I don't disagree that if we're talking about that particular development, that there's a potential to add children to the school system. I think that might be why they were focusing on, if you look at their breakdown, I think they, instead of the 2 commercial spots that we have now, let's call it 3, the old IGA, the Park Restaurant, and Shades. In the proposed development, I think there's 7 or 8 commercial spots that they want to add. So we're gonna go from 3 to, let's say 7, okay? So we're gonna add 4 more spots. That's number 1. Number 2, in the proposal, because we're talking about it, but we're not talking about it. This law has to do with the zone, okay? In the proposal of 36, 9, 35 apartments, a majority of them are 1-bedroom apartments. So I don't think that I'm not saying what you're saying is inaccurate, okay? You do end up adding a cost. The only thing I will address is that while it is $43,000 a child, we pay half. Not trying to minimize the payment, right? Because we get revenues from other sources, whether it's the federal impact aid, whether it's from the state. We're on the hook for approximately half. Out of a $42 million budget, we're on the hook for probably 19 million of it. Okay, not disagreeing with you. So, again, I just want to put things in perspective. And if we're talking about the full assessed value, I mean, look, the village residents pay a school tax on Bog Meadow. Now, I'm not here to have an argument about that. I'm just saying it's a reality. And that's not a commercial space. It provides water to everybody. We sell to residents in Fort Montgomery. It goes to the school. It goes to residents in the village. So, just again, putting things in perspective. I don't disagree that there's a potential. And if you look at the numbers of the kids in the school, it's been on a constant decline. When my brother went there and graduated, there was 1,100 kids, maybe 1,200. Now we're roughly 860, 870. So I think it's a little bit of a marriage. The commercial space, yes, but we need some new folks in this community too to help share this cost. Because the costs don't go away. The costs don't go away. So again, I always appreciate when you get up and talk, and we agree on a lot. So I just want that to be said. Okay, Tiana, come on up. And like I said, we're going to keep the public hearing. We'll stop with Tiana unless someone's jumping out of their seat, and if not, the public hearing will stay to the 8th.
I'll fight someone.
You're gonna fight someone? No, we get the chief here, we don't want to fight.
No. Again, I just really want to reiterate as a member of the zoning board, again, really agree with Jack, there's a loophole there. Tiana Graham, sorry. I do believe there's a loophole in the way it's currently written. If we're saying 25%, it needs to be 25%. It's gonna come to us ultimately.
Yep.
In general, just a general statement. If adding development and people to a community was a losing business, Beacon, Cold Spring, New York City, literally any viable town wouldn't be doing it. Yes, there's scenarios where money moves up, down, left, right, but if business and having people in your town wasn't a good thing, we wouldn't be seeing those towns prosper. So I think the general argument that anything new will be bad and ultimately cost us money is probably a null point, because it is like telling me the sky is green. I can look across the river and see it's not. So that's
Okay, unless anybody's jumping out of their seat, again, we're gonna keep the public hearing open until September 8th. And we could, the board, if you guys wanna talk about it, let's just get into the agenda a little bit when we go later down the road.
I think these people are gonna leave once we get into.
You are? You guys are all gonna leave?
Oh, yeah.
You're leaving? Okay. Okay, I'll open it up to the board.
All right, appreciate everybody's comments here tonight. Everybody has valid points. I lived here a long time as well. We got along. There's always, you know, black eyes here and there, but at the end of the day, we all had a drink together. So, you know, any animosity, I have not seen that. What I will say is, some of the people that just moved back here, have been on the board for a little while and have made numerous changes that have been pro-development. Significant changes, so that the property owners in the business district are gonna have higher density in that district. In fact, we went from 2,500 square feet of lot area to 650 square feet. On that note, if you have 1 acre of land, previously you could have 17 units up there. Now you can have 67. I think that's a great change on the upper floors for residential. If you have half an acre, which is approximately, and I don't like to call that any project because I want to see development. And I work for developers and I don't care who the developer is, come and spend money. And I think this is a way when we make these changes for that to happen. But half an acre of land, you can only put 8 units upstairs. Now you can put 33. That's not significant change? I don't know. I think it is. It's gonna, you know, help benefit the investors and the community, properties in the business district. That's just, you know, that's just one fine example of what we have done up here. And thinking about parking is something that is gonna take a lot more than just what we can do right now in this zoning. But parking is an issue. And the development that is coming in, they have all the parking they need. It's fantastic. I like the one comment where, you know, maybe if we have these residential on the first floor, maybe, and I don't know if we can, it would be something you would have to ask the lawyer, could it be only restricted to senior housing? I don't know, but it's a thought, right? Or handicap only. It's a thought. I heard handicap only, right? So maybe that should be only handicap apartments, but how do we dictate what somebody can do with their land and then something that they're gonna build? I don't know if we have that authority. But it's something that we could look at, I guess. But we have to make sure it's legal first. You know, being up here opened my eyes up a lot. And I can work with anybody. It doesn't matter if they like me or not. I'm not a social media guy, so I don't care what's on social media. I can walk down Main Street and say hi to everybody. And they're like, don't you know what I said about you? I don't care. I'm up here and we can have coffee together. And if you don't like me, tell me to my face. But I'll still have coffee with you. In Orange County, I went to 10 different villages, 10 different communities. In every one of the communities, Cornwall on the Hudson, all but one. Cornwall on the Hudson, Chester, Greenwood Lake, Montgomery, Woodbury, Florida, Harriman, Monroe, Walden, and Warwick all say that you can have mixed-use development. I have all their codes right here. I would love to read every one of these out to you, but then I guess we're not gonna have coffee. With that being said though, there's only one in there that says that you could have residential on the first floor. All the other ones say residential above. And it's meant like that for a reason. The one that says you can have residential on the first floor, you have to have 1,300 square feet of lot area per unit. That's not what we want. We want 650 to allow more up top. You know what I mean? So I don't want to look at that, apples and oranges. Because if you wanted to say residential on the first floor, then should we change the lot area? That's not beneficial to development coming into the community. That's my opinion on that. I know I read previously at the last meeting what the commercial district is for. And I'm gonna read it again. The commercial district in New York streets, villages, Main Street serves to strengthen the community, its economic base by providing jobs, tax revenue, fostering local pride and identity by acting as a historic, which we are, and civic center, attracting visitors, offering essential services to the residents, and supporting an overall well-being of vibrancy of the community through a concentration of business activity. Now, there's economic benefits, jobs and tax revenue, investor confidence, because when you have a vibrant Main Street, people want to come in here and do further development and private investment. It attracts visitors when you have businesses on Main Street. You get a community and culture benefits on Main Street with that historic core value. I was at setting at Annie's the other day, and there was people that came for a wedding, and I guess the one guy, he said he was sick, but I don't think he was sick. He wanted to come check out the village. But he loved going to Annie's. It's a spot that, even other antique places. So having more commercial spaces will allow that when people want to invest in our community. Aesthetics and livability, well-maintained commercial areas, definitely with attractive storefronts, enhance the appeal of the village. It's something that we should probably be working on as well up here in our code. I heard resident services and the convenience stuff. Who wants to go over the mountain? We like shopping here in the village. And so what if it costs another $1? So what if it costs another $1 for a piece of lumber when it's going to cost you $3 in gas to go over the mountain? 20 minutes to stand in line, 20 minutes to get back here, when you could already have that piece of lumber into your building. So spend a little more money in the village too. It's just long-term benefits, historic preservation. By the impacts of allowing residential properties on Main Street on the ground floor is detrimental to the commercial vitality. It reduces the availability of a suitable commercial space, makes it harder for local businesses to attract customers due to the competing residential needs, and negatively impacts residents' quality of life through the increased noise and reduction of privacy. Furthermore, it's a lack of the clear separation between commercial and residential functions that can create traffic and parking challenges, which is what I heard out there tonight. Making the change from 650, from 2,500 to 650 is substantial. Up in the residential districts here, you have to have 7,500 square feet of lot area for one dwelling unit. What does that do for anybody up in the residential districts to maybe have a two-family? You can't in certain locations. Maybe we should look at that if we want more residential. Change the zones up there, let some of these older houses get torn down, consolidate the lots, and put in multifamilies in a multifamily section where residential belongs. I mean, I could go on forever, but I know it's going to be. Thank you, guys.
I do have more so some questions than comments tonight. I think for just a moment that we should step back and ask some of these basic questions, because we are talking about changing the rules for our only business district. The stated purpose of what's written here says in order to encourage residential development in our mixed-use districts. And I think we need to establish why that is the goal. Like, what are we actually trying to build here? What problem are we solving? And what data or analysis are we relying on that tells us that this is the right solution? Because once we put this into our code, it's available to every property that qualifies. So what happens if every eligible property takes advantage of these provisions? Where's the data on what that would mean for a commercial space? We've heard a lot about the additional tax value that development can bring, but we seem to be glossing over the additional demand of our infrastructure and our municipal services that come with that additional development. And we should have an answer to what that growth costs the village to support. I am also concerned about the parking. Our parking requirements were put in place as a tool of a guardrail against density. So if we're now encouraging additional residential, while creating ways to reduce the parking requirement, I think we need to be able to explain what guardrail remains. And I'm sure a lot of people take these questions as being opposed to development or trying to slow things down, which I'm not in any way. I'm not opposed to finding reasonable ways to make properties viable. And I'm certainly not interested in standing in the way of responsible investment in our village. But I also think that we should make, that we shouldn't be making permanent changes to our zoning based off of any assumptions, and that we should be showing the work. We need to be able to answer these kinds of questions. What problems we're solving, what evidence tells us that this is the right solution, what is this going to cost the village to support, what are we giving up, and what is the village gaining in return?
Yeah, so real quick, just say I'm not against development. I want to see it happen here. But just one really other quick example, we do have a parcel that's about 3 acres, which previously you were only allowed to have 52 units upstairs. Now we can get 200 more up there. I think that's positive change. I can't wait till that guy puts a shovel on the ground. Another 200 units. Do it, please. But have commercial on the bottom floor, because if we have 200 units upstairs, they're gonna need to shop something.
I have one thing, and I wish to come back to this one. I just have one thing, because we always go back to social media, and I think the constant beating up of AOG is getting a little ridiculous. There's simply a catalyst to bringing developers to this community where no one else has been able to. We're not developers. The 3 extra apartments at the bottom would be dead space. You know, I go back to the old Goodfellas, when Lorraine Bracco was going to get the furs. Would you go back to a commercial space behind? You know, it would be a dead space. Walk up and down Main Street, it's not, it's there. Front, upstairs, behind, there's apartment spaces, it's not a new thing. People always say to me, well, you know what, I'm working for or with AOG. I do not work with AOG. I have no vested interest with them. What I have is respect. These are people who built a fellowship to fight for our freedom, and they came back home and they said, you know what, we look at your village and we want to do something for it. They could have gone home and just went and rested. I appreciate that. I appreciate them bringing developers here. Again, I'm not a developer. Whatever the developer needs, I think is something we are looking into. I don't think we're just casually saying, okay. But I don't see a big problem with 3 apartments, and that's what this is all really comes down to.
I haven't been feeling very well lately, had some issues with my blood. Anyway, I wanted to say that, I've had, 4 generations of family, live here, and they were all soldiers, and they all retired and lived in Highland Falls. So, growing up in Sacred Heart, school and stuff, it was one of those little things where we always had little battles. And I could never figure out if I was fighting on the side of West Point or Highland Falls. But I know this, that when I saw the situation of the town, the way it was going downhill, I was eager to get on board. And with that, the whole reason was to turn it around. I still feel connected to Highland Falls completely, Red Raider, all that, and I'm still connected to West Point. When I saw AOG coming here with putting out themselves out of the line for us at the school, doing what Aaron and them are doing now for us, I just thought to myself, this is God-given. Who is going to come and rescue us? I mean, we don't have the money to do it. And I'm just so grateful that they came to us. And to fight them and make it more difficult for them, I think is ridiculous. I know we need to move forward, and that this is our opportunity to do it. So, that's where I stand on this whole thing. Anyway, thank you.
I won't bring up anything I mentioned before, except for parking. I just want to make sure I hammer this home with the parking, okay? So if we're in outer space, okay, Highland Falls is in outer space, just for a minute, just go with me, all right? Sometimes I'm humorous, but I just want you to just follow me for a second. So we're on Pluto, all right? And we have a B1 district on Pluto. Highland Falls is on Pluto, all right? And somebody comes in and buys a piece of property or multiple pieces of property and want to put in 200 units, all right? 200 units. Guess what? They'd have to have parking in order to put it in. You want me to say it one more time? If they wanted to put 200 units in, they'd have to have the parking for the units, okay? The parking, which my good friend to my right and to my left, we all discussed, was a guide rail, the parking. In fact, one of the board members, when we were talking, this was a couple months ago, we're still on Pluto, by the way, just go with that. We wanted to do 0 for the area to put units in. Let's bring it to 0. Because at the end of the day, the parking is going to always determine what you can put there. 2,000 units? Well, guess what? If they're all one bedroom, you need 2,000 parking spots. Okay, so let's try to be realistic when we throw these numbers out. And the numbers, I'm telling you now, if I hit the lotto tomorrow and I won $10 billion and I bought every property in the B1, and I said, hey, guess what? I'm knocking everything down. I bought it all. I'm going to use the code the way it is now and put all these units in. I still have to have the parking. I still would have to have the parking. So when we throw these numbers out, 200, 400 down here, 600 units over here, let's take it easy, okay? It's nothing more than not accurate. Because at the end of the day, you would need the parking. You would need the parking. Let's talk about the business districts, which, oh, by the way, there's 3 of them. Okay? There's a B1, a B2, and a B3. Yep.
You got rid of the B3, I'm sorry.
We just gave the extension over here, did we not?
Yes, for one property.
Okay, so there's 3 districts, there's 3 zones, even though one property sits in the one zone, okay? It's 3 business districts, for right now. There's also 5 residential districts, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. We're not talking about those tonight, but we brought them up, and that's okay. And we can look at each one of those if you want. I'd love to maybe even talk about, and I know the village clerk is gonna probably shoot me tomorrow morning, maybe a master plan. Oof. Oof, a master plan. A master plan. If that don't put more gray hair on my head, I don't know what would. Well, I don't think you have any grays. Also tonight, we brought up some other communities. I heard Harriman, Woodbury, Chester. There was a couple more, but let's just hone in on Harriman, Woodbury, and Chester. And if any of you guys in the room want to take a ride, I'll happily, we'll go. We'll go have breakfast somewhere. Maybe we'll eat breakfast here, and then I'll take you for a ride. Let's talk about Harriman just for a moment. Let's take a look at over at Harriman. They have a bunch of massive housing developments in Harriman. It's a commuter town. Train station's right there. Massive, massive development in Harriman. Woodbury. Woodbury's an interesting community. It has a town and a village. The village is actually coterminous with the town. What's coterminous? I had to look it up. It means it runs the same line as the town. So can we really use the town of Woodbury, aka the village of Woodbury, as an example? The town of Woodbury, aka the village of Woodbury, is probably 4 or 5 times our size. It's one of the bigger towns in Orange County. So again, lots of development over there, lots of houses over there, lots of apartments over there on their main street. So again, I just want to compare apples and apples. Chester. Let's talk about the village of Chester. Very similar. Couple of big developments over there. In fact, they were getting so crazy over there with their area and what they were doing, they went to a ward system. I would recommend you look that up too. So, again, I don't have a problem discussing what's in black and white on the document tonight. Might have some disagreement, we can work on it. We've got a lot of good ideas and comments from the public tonight. But let's just, you know, we don't need to have any type of, and I don't want to call them scare tactics, because we throw numbers out and we throw this out, and it's important that we have a discussion and dialogue. But make no mistake about it, if you ride around these other communities, Goshen, Warwick, Cornwall, forget about across the river, I'm not going to bring it up because I'm on this side of the river. All these communities are doing stuff right now. They're doing stuff exactly like this. And if you're shaking your head no, you're not driving around. And if you're going to compare apples and apples, you got to get close to a community our size. And we have the same amount of parcels that we've had for generations. Maybe a generation, I don't know. So, and we do have empty stores on Main Street right now. And some folks who want to come invest here want a new place. They want a new commercial spot to go into. That's just reality. The market decides that. Some places like the antique building, the antique show, the antique whatever, or the little brick and mortar, we have that. We have that. So I'm not saying that we don't have some work to do on this. Obviously, we've heard that from the public. And any type of major development also that's going to add to our services, they're going to have to invest in that line, new sewer line, do this, do that. And if we get a developer in here that, we're still on Pluto, and they want to come in and put 500 units in, well, guess what? We're going to need $1.5 million into our water system. Like, that's part of that, that's part of how that works. So, again, let's try to, I don't have a problem if we have disagreement. I really don't, despite what Facebook says, which I'll get to in a little bit, if you really want to get some fireworks going. But let's talk about what's in the black and white. You know, because we can get into all kinds of hypotheticals, and if you can have so many hypotheticals, you're just going to bury your head in the sand and not come out of your house. So, again, we're keeping the public hearing open. I'm sure we're going to have more dialogue. I'm sure we might even have some more questions. If you got up tonight a few times, you can get up a few more times on September 8th.
Just real quick, Mr. Mayor, so 201 parking spaces.
We're off of Pluto, by the way. We're back in.
Yeah, we're back in the
Orange
village.
County. We're back in Orange County.
So 201 parking spaces is 28,944 square feet of lot area. A lot would be 3 acres that would be put on, that's 130,860 square feet, which leaves 101,000 square feet. Plus or minus that they could do stuff on, then you got your parameters with your setbacks and everything like that. But it is possible for something like that to happen. That's just something that we just need to be aware of, that's all I'm saying.
And I'll just follow that up with, anything is possible. But there's probably like 500 steps between start and then what's possible.
Oh, hold on, 1,000.
Okay, I'm sorry, 1,000 steps. Planning boards, zoning boards, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, you know, let's just be, I want to just be as realistic as possible so that when we get the information out, people can have an educated response. Again, I had a resident ask about parking. It's still there, Mr. Dio, thank you for that. I know you like to sit in the front row. Okay, so we're going to move on with the rest of the agenda, although we lost the trustee, so that's okay right now. You guys want to take a break? People want to go now? You can go now. Mr. Wells, stay if you want. Jenny, are you in the building? We need you up front.
You're running out the door. I mean, you're running in the door.
No, we're not, I'm waiting for a trustee here, if I can get it back. Anyway, if there's public comment on agenda items, we can do that if we can figure out which one's staying or going. Yeah, they can go, but we're not getting. Okay, no comments on the public, on the agenda? Going once? I gotta keep moving, so I need you to finish up.
Marco, they started telling practice last week. So, yes.
Jen, can we get you in here, please? This is insanity. Okay, any public comment? Go! I know you don't have the camera tonight. Go! Okay.
Got it? Yeah, so they're starting, so hopefully.
Okay, anybody public comment on agenda items? Yeah. Going once, going twice? 3, okay. Any other elected officials want to talk? Oh, they all took off. Oh, Nancy, you're here, you want to talk? Sit down, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, I got bills and claims. I have fiscal year 25, 26 in the total amount of $24,181.71. That's warrant number 2512C. I need a motion and a second for that. Trustee Ramus, is there a second? Trustee Carroll, anything? All in favor? Opposed? 4-1. Can I get a roll call?
Trustee Olivia? No. Trustee Ramus?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gardullo?
Yes.
Mayor DeSalvo?
Yes. And then I have warrant number 2603 for fiscal year 26-27 in the amount of $502,524.68. I'm sorry. We got a little happy with the decimals. So $502,524.68?
50252.
Okay, what do we got? 68 or 62? We're gonna get nothing but beatings going around tomorrow morning. That was a joke. You got it right there. Okay, it's right there. Oh, we got it right here. Here we go. So Trustee Gardullo keeps disappearing, took it. I was right, it's 68 cents. $502,524.68. I need a motion and a second. Motion by Trustee Gardullo, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Ramus, any comments, questions? Roll call.
Trustee Olivia?
No.
Trustee Ramus?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gardullo?
Yes.
Mayor DeSalvo?
Yes. Okay, number 2 on the agenda is accept the following minutes as written, July 20th, 26th regular meeting, and August 4th, 2026 special meeting. I think we were all there for those. I need a motion and a second. What's that? I'm just waiting for a motion and a second. Motion by Trustee Gardullo,
Second.
seconded by Trustee Carroll. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We have a request for approval for the Approve the Chambers Car Cruise and 3rd Annual Best of Car Show sponsored by the Town of Highlands Chamber of Commerce. on Sunday, September 13th at 4 PM, Saturday, October 17th at 1 PM, and Sunday, November 1 at 4 PM at Municipal Lot Number 2, pending COI. It's across from Sacred Heart Church. No. Motion by trustee Gardullo. Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by trustee Olivia. Comments, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Perfect. I need more than one. Number 4 on the agenda is to approve Independence Day do-over. Any more outbursts like that, you'd be, no, just approve Independence Day do-over sponsored by the Independence Day Committee on Sunday, September 6th, 2026 at Roe Park, COI on file. I need a motion.
Motion.
Oh, you're all jumping at that one, huh?
Sorry, you.
It's all right. Second.
Trustee Gardullo, seconded by trustee Olivia. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 5. You know, you're all wound up tonight.
Can I just ask a quick question? These times, the 3 to the 8, those are now the times? Do you have that settled?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. As it, well, yeah, you weren't there for the conversation. That the sun sets earlier in September.
Oh, I was there. I know you keep mentioning that.
Attention, so fireworks are at 8 p.m.
I noticed at the town board meeting you made that very
Okay.
clear.
Okay, number 5 is authorize mayor and deputy mayor to sign the Geico property damage release form in the amount of $10,000 for the Center Street wall damage. This comes back to an accident that happened, I don't know, 6 months ago.
November,
I'm sorry, longer than 6 months ago, November, I don't know, somebody wanted to make a hard left, and they made it, and they went through the wall and the fence and everything. DPW fixed the wall actually and put the new, and we got the new fence replaced, so that's good. But unfortunately, Geico only wants to give us 10 grand. So, unfortunately, we're gonna take it,
And we made it work.
and we made it work. With plenty left over, so that's good for now. So I just need a motion to, again, authorize myself or the deputy mayor to sign the Geico property damage release form. Motion by trustee Gardullo. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Carroll. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we had an appointment of a part-time auto mechanic, Christopher Keller, effective immediately, not to exceed 20 hours per week at the contractual rate of $35 per hour with a maximum probation of 52 weeks. We met this gentleman down at the Village Garage with Mr. Murphy and Mr. Hurst. He actually works for the town, so I hear he does a fantastic job. And I think he's gonna be a fantastic help for us, and getting cars done quicker and coming up with a better maintenance plan, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think it works. Yeah. So I just need a motion to approve that individual at the rate.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Man, you're all jumping now, hold on a second, all like crazy. Seconded by trustee Olivia. Questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. You guys are doing great tonight. You're really doing great. Resolution confirming and ratifying the appointment of a workday leader, Matthew Troy. This is formalizing his position. We approved it, I think it was at the joint meeting. So this is confirming, and this is our HR attorney wanted us to pass this, confirming and ratifying the appointment of a working leader, whereas the village law 4-4001 authorized the mayor to appoint village department and non-elected officers and employees subject to the approval of the board of trustees. Whereas on June 20, 2026, Mayor appointed Matthew Troy to the position of working leader with the service position commenced on July 2, 2026. Whereas the Board of Trustees previously approved the mayor's appointment, and the board now wishes to confirm and memorialize that approval. Resolved that the mayor, village clerk, village treasurer, and other appropriate village officers and employees are authorized to direct to take all actions reasonably necessary to implement this resolution, and it be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. I just need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Ramus, is there a second?
Second.
Second, you had it? I'm sorry, trustee Carroll.
You did have it.
Trustee Olivia jumped first, I apologize. All in favor? Any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. You guys were all awake on that one. Next resolution is approving the DPWSA Successor Collective Bargaining Agreement. Whereas the Village of Highland Falls and the Department of Public Works Supervisor Association are parties to a collective bargaining relationship governing the wages, hours, and other terms and conditions of employment of employees and the DPWSA bargaining unit. Whereas the parties negotiated the terms of a successor collective bargaining agreement for the period commencing June 1, 2026 and ending May 31, 2029. The agreement. Whereas the agreement is subject to ratification by the employee organization and legislative approval by the Village Board of Trustees. Whereas Civil Service Law 204A provides that any person requiring legislative action for its implementation, whether by amendment of law or provision of additional funds, does not become effective until approved by the appropriate legislative body. Whereas the Board of Trustees has reviewed the agreement and has determined that its approval in the best interest of the village and its residents. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the successor collective bargaining agreement between the village and the DPWSA for the period of June 1, 2026 through May 31, 2029, subject to confirmation and ratification by the employee organization, and be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the final agreement in substantially the same form presented to and reviewed by the board, and the village clerk is authorized to attest to the mayor's signature and maintain the executed agreement in the official records of the village. You all have had this for a little while, I want to say a month. So if you guys have anything, we can do a motion second. If you want to have anything, we'll discuss it. Yeah. So basically, the person that's in this contract, or the DPWSA, is one individual. So we met and we hammered out a deal that the contract was already in place. So we made some updates. Nothing significant change-wise, other than the length of the contract and some similar things that the DPW contract got, which just made sense for the position. We did it on one or two meetings, and I want to say it saved the taxpayers a bunch of money by not having the previous attorney come down for days on end and lengthen the time that it took to get it done. So I was very happy with the conversation we had on both of them, and I think we saved a bunch of money just kind of streamlining things and having open conversations and getting the contract completed. So okay, so motion by trustee Ramus.
Second?
Seconded by trustee Olivia. Any comments, concerns, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
I would add just that I like the way that Rory has.
It's extremely fancy.
The way he has arranged his layout on his
It's
paperwork
very
is
fancy.
very nice.
It's
I like
very
it.
fancy.
And I would say too that I appreciate this just in, I think when you're good to your employees, they're good to you back, so.
Yeah, I think Rory took more time on doing that beautifully worded resolution than the amount of time we had to renegotiate it. It was a very good negotiation. And I will also say it was a very good negotiation for the DPWEA, which is the rest of the body of the folks down there at the garage. I think the contract is fair and makes sense as we're trying to get, hold people accountable and also try to get more work done and be competitive in the market. So again, changes to salary, pretty level increases over the next couple of years. I will read this fancy resolution. I'm not gonna read all of it because a lot of it's the same what we just talked about. Village of Highland Falls, the Department of Public Works Employee Association, represented by United Public Service Employees Union, are parties to a collective bargaining relationship governing the wages, hours, and other terms and conditions of employment of employees in the DPWEA bargaining unit. Whereas the Board of Trustees has reviewed the agreement and has determined that its approval is in the best interest of the village and its residents, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the successor collective bargaining agreement between the village and the DPWEA for the period of June 1, 2026 through May 31, 2029, subject to confirmation and ratification by the employee organization, which they did vote unanimous to approve. Resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the final agreement, as long as the board says so, and that the clerk will be there to watch me sign it. And I will also say that we cleaned up the contract. It was really a Frankenstein of a bunch of little pieces together, so we cleaned that up and have one solid document now, which is nice. So again, I just need a motion and a second. If we have anything, we can discuss. Motion by trustee Gargiulo, is there a second?
Second.
Trustee Carroll, do we have anything we want to add, subtract? I'd have to go back to the table, which is fine, but you okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. I'm sure they're like eagerly waiting. Okay. Okay. We got a no. We have approved a no parking zone on Villa Parkway as per recommendation of the Highland Falls Police Department Chief Jason Twerpy. And basically where this is on Villa Parkway is if you're coming up to Villa Parkway, right now there seems to be folks parking on both sides as you come into Villa Parkway. And if you have a car parked on the right, if you're at the stop sign and there's a car parked on the right side and a car parked on the left side, it's like, it gets a little crazy. Chief went there, looked it out, between the, you know, the folks' bushes, and they trim them and all this stuff. So it gets a little haywire there. And we're looking at other streets too. We got some calls for some residents on this particular street. I was not one of them, just to make it clear, I didn't call.
What is
So-
the plan is, I'm sorry?
It's just a small portion at the top that you can't park.
Like where the stop sign is?
Yeah, I would say probably, I think it's maybe, what, 30 feet from
To
the...
the driveway?
Hold on.
So 40 feet from the intersection down Villa Parkway. What happens is when cars park there, it affects lane usage for vehicles
Right, yeah,
turning
it's fine.
onto the road. And also it affects line of sight because then vehicles have to basically get right out into the intersection before they can turn.
Makes
So
sense.
I almost got slammed.
there's enough parking in the area that it shouldn't really affect anything, but it would be better for public
So
safety.
is that past the driveway with that first house? Is it
Yeah,
from
that
the
was
stop sign
Correct,
to the
the house on
driveway?
the corner of the
Yeah,
intersection.
that one car is parked every day, all day long.
Right, I'm talking about the southwest corner of the intersection and going down approximately 40 feet.
Are you putting a sign up?
That's what's
Oh,
up.
yeah. But we have to approve it first then.
I like that.
I just need a motion to approve the recommendation per the police chief from the board. Motion by trustee, I'm sorry, trustee Carroll, I'm sorry, Mr. Magnus, would you like to second it? Okay. Motion by trustee Carroll, seconded by trustee Ramus. Any questions, comments, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. The second one is approve a tollway zone on Schneider Avenue as per recommendation of Highland Falls Police Department Chief Jason Twerpy. So Schneider's one of these areas, I know we've talked to new trustees that have come on. We're trying to look at certain areas of the village where it's habitual. So Chief, if you want to add anything, but we do have a letter here. It says, after careful consideration, you can add to this if you want. After careful consideration, my recommendation to the village board that there be a no parking zone on Schneider Avenue in the areas across from McCollum's Lane be posted and designated a tollway zone. in this area of limited parking on Schneider Avenue. Violations of the no parking law are chronic, and despite the signage that already exists and ticketing efforts of the police, people still choose to legally park in this no parking zone when vehicles are illegally parked in this area. It is very difficult for emergency services and oversized vehicles to drive past this location. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, hold on now, you're all going real fast now. Second by trustee Olivia. Any questions, comments, concerns from the board?
Yeah, I got a quick comment. Maybe we can look into the detail that we actually split out the section of the road that's a problem.
I believe it
Just
is.
signs up there now, is it stretched on the road as well?
Well, I would have signage put up that it's an active tow-away zone,
Yeah.
so this way it can't be any surprise to the violators when they park there.
If that's not enough, would my suggestion of painting some no parking stripes on the road surface in that area there? Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
Roofs are painted, but I don't think the actual blacktop is
Okay.
painted. And there's actually 2 different no parking zones there. Are we gonna clarify that we're just doing one, or,
We're doing the one recommended by the chief for right now.
so the
Yeah.
one further up?
No, I'm talking about the one across from McCollum's Lane where it's chronic with violations. People park in there, parking's already very limited there, and for whatever reason, people still choose to park there. We can address the other
That's it.
one later on.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure they'll just get towed once and that'll be the end
Thank
of it. You see, you're gonna have to move to the second row if you're gonna. Okay, any more comments, questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you very much. The next thing is we applied for a grant through the DCIP, Defense Communities Investment Infrastructure Plan. Is it on there? Look at me, I'm trying to go from memory. I apologize. I think the Okay, so we applied for a grant. It was $10,050,000. $10,050,000. And we had an individual that volunteered a lot of his time working with our current grant writers, but he specializes in this particular grant for defense communities, which we joined. I want to say we joined, it was like the first couple things we did when we got out of the gate. Yeah, it was $450, and you had to be a member in order to even participate. So we are waiting to hear back on that grant. I want to say any day now. Don't worry, if we get it, you'll all know.
Put it on Facebook.
Well, we might have a couple options. Facebook may be towards the end of it.
But we don't, we're set up here for the next
Yeah.
round.
Yes, absolutely. And this individual helped out a lot, and we discussed it. And even if we don't get it on this round, he's going to assist with strengthening the application. I think he's, for $2,958 flat fee, he put in a lot of hours in already, this individual. I think it's well worth it. Of course, if we get the $10 million, I'll be a complete hero. If we don't get it, then I'm sure I'll have someone come and yell at me, which is fine too. So I do think it's well worth the expense. Again, he kind of, off the record, even though we're being recorded, but kind of coerced him into helping us, which he volunteered a lot of his time. But I think to bring us to the next step, whether we do get it, he will be instrumental in helping us kind of implement and go through the stages of going through getting the money. And if we don't get it, he'll be instrumental in assisting with us strengthening our application for next time. Yeah. So basically what I need is a motion to hire this fellow, Michael Baker, not to exceed $2,958.
And I know I spoke in the infant stages with them, because obviously I wanted a lot more.
Yeah.
I was looking for 25 million.
Yeah.
They got me down to 10.
Yeah.
10.
$1,050,000. Yeah.
I'll make that one.
Motion by trustee Ramus, seconded by trustee Gardullo. Anything else, comments, questions, concerns? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very, very much. Okay, the next one is item number 13, which is to approve a change order prepared by JRFA for Revolutionary Road to be added to the Cragston Potable Water Project. I will just give an update to the board and the public that so far so good on the actual pipe going into the ground in this area. Obviously, we've had some rain and some washout, and every week we get rain now, so it's our wet season now. So the project itself has been going well. A couple little minor snags, but these folks who won the bid are used to our rock here. So it is going well. We're well within our price range and budget right now for the expenses that we've been putting through. So I think we did discuss this as a board in the beginning stages, that we wanted to make sure we bring it to the end of Revolutionary Road to keep that going. And then we're in the process of looking at the potential of trying to create a little loop and going down the other road on, you got Kings, yeah, Drury Lane, and then what's the little section here? Kings Road. So there's Kings Road, Drury Lane that also completes Cragston. So again, this is a water project, both on Leora and Cragston, was brought 2 administrations ago. We're just getting the work done. So the change order would be $515,559.61. It's that number at the bottom there. The big number was the both projects together. And I believe he has a cost breakdown on the next page.
I appreciate that. I think all change orders should be as detailed as this.
Coming along splendidly.
Well, 515,000.
There's plenty of detail here, okay? Not all the change orders.
I did it for you. I did it for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm sorry, I got a motion from trustee Gardullo. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Carroll. Questions, concerns, comments?
Can comment real quick. I know I've been going down there, and it was nice to see they actually put silt fence in the trench, and they have a filter socket as well, which I think is a big savior for some of that washout. Things great.
There were, on the one rainstorm, I want to say 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where we got, it wasn't necessarily a lot of rain, but we got a lot of rain quickly. There was 2 properties that had an issue, but the contractor's making right by them. So that was.
And like I said, that silt fence was a big plus that they put. Good to see that.
I had a motion, a second. I'm going to do a roll call on that.
Trustee Ramos.
Hey.
Trustee Olivia.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Gardullo.
Yes.
Mayor DeSalvo.
Yes. Okay. Next on the agenda is we had the deputy clerk's position open up. Person there took another job, another municipality. So we put the ad in the paper. We got, I don't know, how many we get, 8?
7.
7. And it was,
I'm sorry, yes, 8.
it was 8.
It was 8.
Yeah, once in a while.
Yes.
And we had a good blend. We had folks in town, folks out of town. We went through all the interviews. I wasn't there for all of them. A lot of strong candidates. Some of the candidates had different start dates, or their jobs may not be going away, because we had some folks who were coming off of West Point, and some of the salaries just didn't match. They were a little higher than what we're prepared to offer. So we did narrow it down with the clerk and I would say pretty much the office staff, which was the clerk and the deputy treasurer. So who you have before you, and this letter is from our clerk. After interviewing, you have 7 here.
Yes, 1 was no show.
Oh, okay, so 7 physical candidates for the full-time deputy clerk position. Is my recommendation that you appoint Jenna S. Class to the position at an hourly rate of $26 .4423, because we like to take it out to 4 spots, with a maximum allowable probation period of 52 weeks with the start date of Monday, August 24th. 2026, I'm sorry. Ms. Clay, her background and skills align with the needs of the village clerk's office based on her qualification experience, and I believe she's a veteran.
Yes, sir.
So that was, we didn't know that until, well, I didn't know it until they knew it, but I didn't know it until she came in. So I thought that was a plus too. I don't know that we've had a veteran in that office yet. I could be wrong, so.
I think one of the other ones even had a end date. In other words, they were only gonna be there for like 5 years. I think someone younger like this is going to be a benefit, in the village.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from any of the candidates. They all brought a uniqueness to, you know, their resume and the interview, but I think when we honed it down, this person just, I think, just stood out a little more.
I think we'll get longevity too.
So, need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Gargiulo, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, concerns? Don't nod off. Don't nod off. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. We're getting there, we are getting there. And it's number 15, special, so the clerk, I had to put it in bold because this is resolution, because it's a budget transfer, which I'm told on Facebook we don't do. So just want to make sure I'm going to go slow with it. I apologize, I know it's late. Whereas at the August 17th, 2026 Village Board meeting, the Village Board approved the budget transfer from the general fund to workers' compensation. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budget transfer amount of $289.04. That's right, folks, $289.04 be approved from Chase General Fund 7927 to NCA Comp Workers' Compensation 0658. Need a motion by a trustee. Motion by trustee Gargiulo, is there a second? Seconded by trustee Carroll. Any comments, questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to go to the speaker?
Unfortunately, I apologize.
Oh, can we just go for coffee then?
You could do that if you want.
I'll just read you. I'm not a public speaker, so I'm never at meetings, as you can tell. My name is Tammy Johnson. I'm coming as a concerned parent. Am I down? I thought it was loud. Okay. No. I'm here as a concerned parent. A lot of people left, so whoever's here can hear what I have to say. There has been an ongoing situation which the police department is aware of. Torpy is doing an amazing job of, trying to bring things together in our community as far as altercations, our children, and so forth. I'm here because of a couple of things. June 29th, there was an issue with a same person, a younger person, a teenager, who has harassed multiple children in our community. I've been a member of this community for going on 11 years. This one individual was my child's bully from the first day we met her. My daughter is now a junior in O'Neill High School. I have gone to the police station multiple times about this. There have been multiple arguments between my daughter and this individual and other multiple children with this individual. My concern is this. I have asked time and again, what can we do before something physical happens, before something really harms one of our children? I called you, left a message for your office, asking to please call me so that we can have a sit down.
Today?
June 30th I'm referring to. The altercation, not a physical, that was between my daughter's best friend and a 17-year-old and a 25-year-old man. She supposedly maced this 25-year-old man as he went to accost her.
Okay.
There was a warrant issued for her arrest, but the individual was not arrested because they did not see it happen, so they could not confirm that that is what happened. As of this last altercation that just happened, which everybody's aware of, I'm absolutely 100% positive, was with the same 25-year-old man who went to accost my daughter's best friend on June 29th when she supposedly maced him to defend herself, threw a 17-year-old child into an oncoming vehicle. Hit other young children, 13, 14-year-old individuals. A 25-year-old man is doing this. The police department is doing an awesome job of trying to find this man. I don't know if he's been found as of yet, I'm not sure. But I do know that I stand here for multiple parents and multiple mothers in our community that want this stopped. I need to know, is there anything before it gets really ugly?
Sure.
And we want West Pointers to come into our community. It was a West Point child that got thrown into the vehicle.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line? What do we do? Because at this point, we have mothers that are ready to whoop this man's ass. And I'm sorry if I'm not to say that, but we're ready.
Well, we got.
Because our mama bear claws are out and they're not going back in until this man is in custody. Because my child, for one, wasn't here the day that it happened because it was her 16th birthday on August 13th. She was not here. Thank God, because she would have been there.
Right.
I'm saying they were more concerned about a 17-year-old, 16-year-old at the time, my daughter's best friend, at the June 29th incident, being arrested than they were taking care of this man for going after a child. There's an active warrant for her arrest. Do they believe me now that he was trying to put his hands on her?
Right.
I tried to stop this, and I've been going to police station for 8 to 9 years, and I'm told I have to have my daughter make a statement. They have to have something to bring to the DA, to bring to the judge. I get it, I understand that. But when it's followed up with, you can do the paperwork, we can do the paperwork, but it's not gonna go anywhere, it's just gonna get thrown out. You're telling our children, yeah, you can come to us, you can talk to us, you can tell us these things, but it's not gonna go anywhere. So now, they handle it on their own.
No.
Where does the line get drawn?
Okay.
I'm done.
Well, wait a minute. Don't go with it. So, a couple quick things. I don't wanna get too much into it because I did have a conversation with the police chief this morning.
Mhm.
And I will preface that by saying, it's not that I don't wanna get involved in this type of stuff, because I think the police department should do their job, or law enforcement in general should do their job.
Should.
Hold on. But because I saw you, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday.
You saw me, I spoke to Detective
I know that,
Sergeant
but I
Basler.
knew you looked a
Yes.
little upset, so I let you go do what you had to do, and then we had a conversation this morning. I wanna talk to you, maybe this isn't the best setting,
We can go for coffee.
whatever, you can knock on my door, we're neighbors, so whatever, if the car's there. But I wanna talk to you more about it, because we talk about this bullying thing, and it gets out of hand fast. I will tell you, and I'm not making an excuse, because I'm gonna look into the whole thing, okay?
Please.
And we did have a preliminary meeting today, and I think there was a warrant put out. I don't wanna get into all the topics.
Mhm.
But, there's no place for bullying in this community. There's no place for bullying anywhere. So, but I will tell you, in having now worked at another agency in this county, some of the laws I really do hate. I really, really do hate them. But I think I was thinking about this all day today, and I think I may have an idea. So, if you're okay with it, we could take it offline and get together?
I'm fine with that,
Okay.
I just want all the parents
I
that
understand
are
that.
feeling this, that we're afraid to
And
come
if-
forward,
if-
I'm not.
If you wanna have a group and we get together, that's fine too.
I'm not afraid to come forward because I have to speak for the children.
It's your child, I understand.
have no, it's not just my child.
No, I know,
It's
but,
parents that were afraid to come here and
Well, please.
speak on it and say anything, because we're not, by any means, are we saying
I know what you're saying.
that I'm not backing them up, because yes, they have my husband
Yeah.
has spoken face to face with multiple officers,
Yep.
you know, but the same individual, the teenage crap is teenage crap.
Yep, I
okay?
understand.
But now when an adult gets involved.
Yep,
And not only, you know, when a man approaches him, which he's been approached multiple times by a man, he cowers.
of course.
But all he wants to do is go after our children,
Right.
and it needs to stop.
We're gonna come up with a plan, so but if you wanna speak to those other mothers or fathers, whoever, and you wanna get together and come to Village Hall, I'll even buy coffee.
No, I don't drink coffee, but there's.
If I could just say to you, I can't speak too much on an open investigation, but I want to say to you that if you give me a little bit of time, I think you're going to be satisfied with the results, okay?
I would love to see a result finally.
I mean, so in this instance, you know, there was an altercation, my unit showed up, half the combatants have left, people were crazy, they're running around screaming, and we're trying to put a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle together on the scene for an event that didn't occur in our presence. So I'll just say, if you just give me a little bit of time, I think you're gonna be satisfied.
I would appreciate that, because I'm tired of having to take my family out of town to be able to enjoy my daughter's. She had to go out of town because this individual constantly harasses, and it's nonstop. We have to leave next week to take her away.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't want that, I don't want that.
You know,
So-
we want to raise our, we want our children to feel comfortable in this town, in this village, enjoy Roe Park,
Yep.
enjoy everything. And it's just not possible. My daughter stayed in the house for 3 years and never showed her face, because every time she did, she was bullied. And she stood up for herself, finally, and that's when all
Yep.
of the harassing happens every single day.
We'll be in touch,
So,
okay?
thank you.
Guaranteed.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? We have liaison reports. Trustee Liddy. Just making sure. That doesn't mean anything. Have a business day.
Just a few things.
What is that?
Garbage collection reminders, just a few quick reminders for sanitation. If you have bulk items to dispose of, please call ahead and get on the pickup list. Please remember that garbage cans should not be left at the roadside after your pickup day. And please be mindful of what you're putting out for regular garbage collection. Things like oil, gasoline, paint, pool chemicals, pesticides, and other certain materials can create hazards when they're mixed together and compacted inside the garbage truck. And the right mix could even start a fire. That was new information for me. I wanted to make sure to share that. So if you are unsure about how to properly dispose of anything, please contact Village Hall, Town Hall, our sanitation department. And beautiful timing, Orange County Household Hazardous Waste Collection is also coming up back to the village here October 23rd and 24th. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. For residents who have those types, sorry. Anyone who has those types of materials to dispose of, we will have the collection here in October. And all these things for sanitation, they might seem like small things, but following the rules for sanitation helps keep our workers and our equipment safe, and it makes a real difference in the appearance and overall image of our village. I have the building department report for the month of July. We had 13 permit applications received, 16 permits issued, 12 certificates of compliance, 39 building permit inspections, 23 fire safety inspections, 7 violation notices, 15 violations were closed out, 8 municipal searches were completed, and 6 FOIL requests were completed. The building department has had a new part-time employee for most of this year, and one of his first priorities was the fire safety inspections. Some were several years behind, and some had no documented history at all. So he has been making really good progress there. And I know that inspections can sometimes feel like an inconvenience, but they're really about the safety of our community. It's one of those things that we hope we never actually need, but if there is a fire, we want to know that our safety measures are in place and working. And I understand that Village Hall has made it onto the list for inspections, and I do hope that we would check all of our other municipal buildings, including the one we're all in here tonight, because our buildings should be held to the same safety standards that we expect of everyone else, right? So anyway, we're getting caught up on fire inspections, and the department will be able to shift gears and focus on some of the other outstanding issues throughout the village. So I think we're moving in the right direction there. And this will be the last bit from me tonight. I also want to take a minute to talk about participation in our community. Wherever your interests lie, there is probably something here for you. We have so many wonderful community organizations, from the history to gardening to our essential services like fire department and our ambulance corps, which rely heavily on volunteers. But volunteering is not the only way to participate. We have festivals and vendor events and other community activities throughout the year, and we've seen attendance at some of these events really decline over the years. So I ask tonight that if you've ever thought, I'd like to get more involved, or there's nothing to do around here, this is your invitation to throw your hat in the ring, come out, volunteer, join something, bring your family, support an event, whatever participation looks like to you. I want to encourage that, because we talk a lot about wanting a better village, a stronger village, and participation is one of the easiest ways to be a part of making that.
Thank you. Trustee Carroll? Okay. Trustee Gardula?
I have nothing really, just to thank the village workers, first responders, let's see, for 365.
Okay. Trustee Reynolds?
Yeah, so, sewer treatment plant for July. In July, everybody knows we had like 14.5 inches of rain, crazy rain. We're getting a lot of I&I down there. I'll ask again, if you do have a sump pump, please make sure it goes outside. They've done all of their maintenance on all the equipment that they generally do at the pump stations as well. The Webb Lane pump station generator is going to have a transfer switch replaced within a week or two. All of their process samples have been sent out to the DEC. They've removed sludge from the belt press on the 1st of July. They should be doing another removal within a week now. We have to discuss a pump that we're gonna have, if it's beyond repair, that we're gonna have to find some money for, hopefully it's in the budget. There's also some quotes to replace the chain of flights down there on the east secondary clarifier. And they wanna start that sometime in August. We just need to give it an approval. I'm pretty sure we have the money for that. We had 2 things that we did have to send out to the DEC, that was blockages in manholes. One was on Old State Road, and there was another one down in the DPW garage. So the blockages were taken care of by Tim, and when we get our new truck, we'll be able to do that in-house, which will be great. On a good notes, the DMV truck was here on Tuesday, right outside. It was great. There wasn't a line when I got here, but I heard they did get busy later on during the day. It's great to see them come down here. The guy that was in front of me, he got new plates for his motorcycle. You know, it was just anything in general, even non-driver's license IDs. So there was a lot going on. I just want to thank the DMV for coming down and doing that. The farmer's market I was at on Sunday, packed, and I believe that was in part due to Acceptance Day. Acceptance Day was fantastic. Every place on Main Street was packed. It was great. Grandma's Kitchen had a line coming out on Saturday morning. Andy's, like it always does. Bean Barrel was packed. Westie's, you couldn't hear yourself think. So it was just a great weekend for the village, and can't wait to see more businesses come in so we can continue to do this.
Okay. Real quick, real quick, National Night Out was great. A lot of participation, a lot of law enforcement. I was even in the dunk booth. I think I went down like 20 times.
Your mom put in there a couple
I
times.
think my mom tried to put me in there once, yeah.
And little kids.
Mostly kids, it was pretty good. Nobody there to get any type of real aggression out, so it worked out okay. So kudos to all those folks that put that together, HFPD and West Point worked together a lot with that. We had the sheriff's office there, town was there. We had, I believe our village engineer donated 400 hamburgers.
That's right.
Yeah, and then I think Stewart's donates hot dogs.
They gave us like 300 hot dogs.
Okay, so we had plenty of,
Cases of donuts.
yeah, we had a lot of donations, it was great, and the ambulance corps was there grilling, and we had fire department, and a lot of giveaways, live music, all that stuff. So it worked out very well. Dial-a-Bus, I happened to attend the senior citizen group, the Highlanders, I don't know what day it was. They wanted me to join, but I'm not there yet.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. They wanted me to join, but I'm not there yet. I think 55 according to AARP is the, so I have a little time to go. But they were asking about the Dial-a-Bus. I actually, the supervisor and I went back and forth a little bit, but I saw him tonight, and apparently there's a part that's broken on the Dial-a-Bus. And apparently it's a part that a couple of municipalities having issues with, and they can't get the part, not in the Northeast, but I was told anywhere, like in the country right now. Okay? But the county likes us very much down here, so they're getting us a backup Dial-a-Bus. So it should be in service before the end of the week, but definitely by next
Sounds
week.
like it, yes.
Yeah.
Because it was just paperwork, they were just trying to.
It's just a paperwork thing, so I think should be in service by the end of this week, if not for sure next week. So that was good stuff. Again, I want to thank the community historian, Mrs. Coffey. She worked on a grant to restore some of the historical markers, and we also added one at Memorial Park for Mr. Mearns, who donated that actual park. So that was pretty cool. As Trustee Olivia said, and I believe some other trustees, Orange County Hazmat is selecting our community again to do a hazmat drop-off, which is October 23rd and 24th. It'll be at the Lot 2, which is the parking lot across from Sacred Heart Church. It worked very, very well here. They loved coming down here. It was very, very nice, so they're gonna do it again. But mark your calendar for the 23rd, 24th. We'll get more information out when we get it. The bathrooms at Rowe Park. We all know we had the bathrooms at the pavilion. The bathrooms at the actual bathhouse, it was actually called the bathhouse, have been out of service, I want to say, for 20 years. I think that's a fair number. DPW worked very hard in-house. Those bathrooms are open now. Beautiful. Came out very nice. I think it's another option while you're at the pool instead of trucking across all the way to the pavilion. So those bathrooms are open now. They'll be open during the pool area, pool time, and we'll probably leave them open too. But I think it's another option if you're over at the park. So that was very good. DPW mentioned. I just want to talk real quick about Facebook. I made some comments before because, you know, sometimes we get in the heat of the moment, but Facebook seems to be running rampant. And I don't know, it must be like cyclic, is that the word? Yeah, so all of a sudden now it's been crazy, and I'm talking like crazy. Like one time I got a text, because I'm not on these pages, I don't know if I'm blocked or what. I would imagine I'm blocked because I can't offer any type of rebuttal or factual information. So that's okay, but I get this stuff texted me, and so usually I have to pull over because I'm dumbfounded by it. So one of the texts was the other day, like a $5,000 missing check. So either it came out on a Friday or a Thursday or something, and I'm thinking about it all weekend. I'm like, Jesus, did something happen? So Monday, was it Monday I came in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Monday I came into Village Hall and I said, I got the crew in there, and I said, listen guys, I said, if a mistake was made, let's talk about it. Like, because I don't know what this is, like, I have no clue on what this is being, it's just a comment that was made. Long story short, they said, we all saw it, we don't know what they're talking about. I said, because if we made a mistake, we can fix it. It's fixable. Don't know what they're talking about. Today, or yesterday, or this morning, there's a group of people that get free water bills and or sewer bills. So I have a list, I keep a list of people who get free water and free sewer. You three are not on it, which is surprising. My own mother's not on it. My own mother's not on it.
Probably why she dumped you.
It's probably why she dumped me. So, I mean, I make joke of it, but this is the craziness that's going out there. One of them was, I was cashing checks for somebody in Walden, for the village of Walden had an issue with their village manager or something. I don't even know. I haven't been a teller for 15 years, so I haven't cashed checks for anybody. I don't even think I've cashed a check for me in some time. Christmas is coming, so maybe my dad will give me a little something, but I haven't cashed a check for myself in years. So I don't know what that's like. It's just crazy. And the only thing I would recommend is that this person get into writing, because some of the stories are just fantastic and very much fictional. So it worries me a little bit, because I don't know if these people are just saying it because they believe it, or I don't know what it is, but it's a little scary. It goes back to the bullying a little bit, but they can say what they want. I'm actually a little happy sometimes when I do get a text from somebody, because I feel like I'm occupying their mind for free.
Free rent.
Free rent, right? So these are some of the pleasures you get, because we're not getting paid millions up here, so, not that I'm complaining, I'm just saying. Just a couple quick comments too about the building department code enforcement. And what I'm about to say, again, as every board member up here says, specifically about code enforcement. What I'm about to say is not an attack on the office or the folks who work down there. My comment is more for town board members that are here, that participate in the village board meeting, which is their right to do so. And specifically those ones that come here and want to lob grenades. As an elected official in the town, as two of the members, one that's not here right now and one that's sitting in the audience, do often, they'll come here and speak, ask a question, and even bring it back to the town board meeting. I never hear from some of the members that do come here, that like to lob grenades, anything come out of their mouth about what town taxpayers are talking about at this meeting. And the only reason why I bring up the building/code enforcement is because that's a consolidated department that the town manages and runs. So all I would ask is that, present company excluded, and Mr. Sullivan, who actually made a comment about it at the town board meeting, that if we're gonna come here and lob grenades, which is totally fine, I don't think any member of this board goes to the town board meeting and lobs grenades. Trustee Olivia goes there with valid questions, Trustee Ramus goes there with valid questions, everybody goes there with valid questions. I don't actually go that much, because I just pick up the phone and I call Nancy, I email Nancy, or I call the supervisor, and we have that relationship. But folks who come here just to lob grenades, don't bring up anything that residents talk about here, that pay town taxes, just aggravates me a little bit, just a touch. So I think if you are gonna sit in the audience, like present company excluded, and actually bring issues down to the town board meeting, God bless you. I think that's great. Because these folks that come here are more than welcome, but they do, for code enforcement, they belong to the town board meeting. It's a consolidated service. They run the department. We have very little say. And that's okay. We have a good communication with a lot of them. I have a good communication with the supervisor. But you can come here, but also go to the town. So I just want to emphasize that. It's 10 o'clock. I think I need to be done.
Mr. Mayor, real quick.
Oop. Apparently I'm not done.
Because you brought up Roe Park, I spoke with Council Member Sporbert about Roe Park, and she spoke with the rec department, and they started dragging that field. and he's doing a good job. He says he's got a lot more to do there, because that grass is deep, so thank you for that.
I just got a couple notices for some events at American Legion, so I'd just like to share while I have a minute. The last week of the summer is going to be August 30th from 3 to 6 p.m. It's $20 per person, and a couple other save the dates. September 25th is a murder mystery dinner, and October 17th will be Oktoberfest. So please keep those in mind, and let's support our local American Legion.
I got a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Or they all jump at that. Have a good night, everybody.